Welcome to Fargo Talks.
Fargo Talks.
Fargo Talks.
This is Fargo Talks. Welcome, my friends.
Thank you, Jeff.
We go. It's funny. You're going to be episode like 78, 79, and we do it. It's called a cold start. We just we do this thing, and in the beginning, it was like small talk for like 5 minutes, and then I'd watch like my drop off. Like, you fuckers don't care about what we're talking about. Where I got my nails done today, or that I'm wearing a fucking t-shirt that my wife gave me for Christmas, or no, for my birthday. For my birthday, she gave me this. This is my.
It's cute.
Thank you. This podcast has become an homage of my love of my wife. It has. At 55 years old, I found love for the first time ever. And it's
I love it.
Thank you. I'm blessed. I'm blessed. She's hot and age appropriate.
I love it. This is great.
We love hot and age appropriate.
It's especially in this town. It's fucking awesome.
Where's the stage of the relationship right now? You guys dating, married? What's
married?
happening?
We just had yesterday was our 3 week anniversary.
3 week.
Yeah, got married right here in Vegas. Went to the marriage. Your
now.
client. We went on the first was our wedding day. Brought our kids and good friends, a couple of good friends. No, we went to the city and then got our license.
Yeah.
And we have if you look, Brandy's picture on her social media is us in front of that big mural kissing.
Oh my!
The guy came out from I've never seen this from a public employee, because usually you think it's like the fucking DMV. But when Vegas, to get your wedding license, you go and you get the certificate with the showgirls on it. Mm-hmm. And the guy came out from behind the bulletproof glass, walked us outside to show us where to go the next day for the building down to where we actually had the ceremony. Mm-hmm. But took our picture in front of the mural, our picture in front of, they've got that big
heart.
art.
Yeah.
The art heart thing that's out there, and did all that.
I love that. That is shout out to County Clerk.
Shout out to this is the Clark County Clerk's Office. Yep. I mean, we're the wedding capital of the world, and now I see why. Sure. It was super cool. So we're at the phase now, but we've been there for the beginning. It's like, I love her. We have sex as often as possible. It's fantastic. Sometimes twice a day. And
Things are hot.
I'm 55 with no little pills needed. Thank you, boner Jesus.
That's awesome.
Holy hell.
I love it.
We did long distance for a year and a half. She was in Tampa and I was here. Wow. So either I was flying her out here or I was going out there once or twice a month. So that kept stuff really hot. And I told this yesterday, I'm like, I thought when we moved you out here in August, it would kind of calm down. No.
Train is going.
It's fucking.
I fucking love it.
The skillet is a sizzling.
Let's go.
I'm so happy for you.
Go.
The skillet is a sizzling. So I get goosebumps about it because I love her.
Do you guys both have kids, or you have kids? Okay,
we both do. My daughter is 15. My son's going to be 9 on the 30th of December, and her daughter is 15 and lives with us.
Wow.
Well, how perfect is that?
So yeah, and
they get along.
Yeah, that's
the craziest part, right?
The craziest part is the daughters get along well, but my son, who's 9, is best friends with my stepdaughter, and it's like Snoop Dogg and Martha Stewart.
Oh, that's
fucking
so
hilarious.
Cute.
It's hilarious how they get along.
I love that dynamic.
By the way,
so cool.
Great couple, Snoop and Martha.
Right?
Yes.
It's the only real homage I could give is those two. The only comparison.
So who's Snoop?
Oh, my son. My son is Snoop. Oh, please. That's fruit of my loins. That's my.
Oh, it's great.
That's awesome. That's my boy.
Congratulations,
thank
Jeff.
you. So that's why
I can kind of see the glow.
Thank you.
I don't know if you've ever had this. By the way, you're a foot taller than I thought you were when
He's
I met.
2 feet taller than me.
Did you know that?
I could put Tallz in my pocket.
People tell you that you're tall?
You know what's funny is, yes, when I was single, I never knew that all guys lie about their height. On dating apps.
I'm not on dating apps, but I
can talk about your shoe inserts.
95% of every first date I had when I was single in Vegas on Bumble and Hinge and all that shit, first date, man, you're tall. I'm like, it says I'm 6'3" in my profile, and then I learned then that all guys lie about their height.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to see? Do you want to? Should I just give an exclusive out right now?
Please.
You guys want to know something that I've never told anyone? My wife Mindy's gonna kill me after I say this.
I know what he's going to say.
Right now, at this moment, in my shoe, I have an insole I think it adds about 2 inches.
Wait, can you stand up?
I shit you not. I call him I don't know what it's called. I think it's tall man.
That's
By the way, full disclosure, I'm 5'10" regularly. But it adds 2 inches to my 5'10".
Well, then your hair is another 2 to 2.5
so I'm like
inches.
6'4".
You're 6'4" right now.
Wait, hold
no,
on,
I'm just
wait.
kidding. No, but I do have. And you know what? It's like a recent thing. It's like I've always been wearing. It's not that. It's just funny that we're talking about it.
Yeah.
Because I put it in maybe a few days ago. I told everybody at our office, and my wife Mindy's like, "Why do you tell people?" It's like a whole thing that you're not supposed to do.
But it's
I
like,
tell everybody.
You have to.
Because I
though.
kind of like. They know.
That kind of makes it actually, I think, more acceptable. Like personally, I don't give a fuck. You could be, you could be 3'3".
No, I get
Okay.
it. I don't know
I
why
need
I
some
even do
insoles.
it. Maybe first impression thing. I don't. I kind of like the extra 2 inches. I'll tell you that right now.
That's what she said. Sorry, I'm gonna
Exactly. Cheers.
gonna be there.
Touche. This is gonna be so good.
This is just meaty
We're
softballs
immediately.
getting thrown over the plate, man. That's all this fucking is. What you should do, my little love, is pun intended. You should get lifts, and my daughter wears like these chunky sneakers that are also like another 2 inches just to fuck people up. You should get another 6 inches of artificial extensions and then go to some fucking content creator event and act like nothing's changed.
And nothing's
Like,
changed.
oh my God, why do you look different? Like, I don't know, motherfucker.
I'm like, what do you,
I don't
what
know.
do you mean? I've always
I
been
don't
like
know. Where are the
this.
egg rolls? I'm just here to get content.
Where are the egg rolls?
Can you lift that, please?
Just whip out your
I
little
can't
light you
reach.
guys have, and
Oh, we keep that light on.
that would
us.
be my best friend in the world. I'm from upstate New York, Canandaigua, New York. Sean Kutry, my best friend of 40 plus years, bald as a biscuit, just like me. We've always said when I go back to one of our class reunions and get $1,000 hair pieces that look amazing, look real.
Oh, have you seen those TikToks?
Yes. And just walk in and act like nothing is different, nothing's
So
changed.
The super realistic
And I have the
ones.
Baywatch, Mitch Buchanan middle hair part, fucking flowing. Somebody with a fan following me, just fucking just
And
going
don't forget
like
the
this.
light too, just following you.
Oh, I
through.
need a light. I need a light.
You and Phil at the same time.
And oh my God.
If Phil did that,
Have you ever seen? Okay, let's just crush Phil as soon as we start.
Poor Phil.
I've seen Phil with a photo with hair. Have you ever seen that? Amazing. You got to have him show you.
I would love to
Phil
see.
with hair. It
Phil,
was
I
a
wanna see
thing
pictures.
for a long time.
Phil, please post pictures of you with hair.
Let's throw
Please.
that up right there.
Please.
Isn't the high school photo like a trending thing that some of the people are posting from their high school? I have seen that. I don't even know if I can find a high school photo. I turned 50 next year, so I'm not.
For you.
I might be the oldest dude in our industry, in our group. Who's older than
In your
me?
group, you are not in the industry.
Not yeah, no. In
Paul
our,
was
in our
probably the
group.
oldest.
Is he older than 50? Is he?
Vegas Pauly C.
Yeah. Is he? How old is he?
I would
don't know.
I would say we had coffee. I had
You
him
don't
on the
know?
show. I would say Paul is in his early 60s.
I've never met him before. Oh,
Yeah.
early 60s.
I'd
Wow.
say his early 60s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. I'm 49 right now, so 55.
Yeah.
I feel you, dude.
But
you know what I mean?
Asians, dude, you could be 74.
Do you feel?
And no one,
do
you
you,
look
I know,
fantastic.
right?
Your
Asian don't rate.
skin, dude, there's no wrinkles. Your skin is perfect. You're fucking on point.
I have a lot of other guys that are Asians, and I ask them how old they are. I'm like, oh, you're gonna look way younger than me when you turn 50. It is ridiculous. You feel old.
Depends
Like,
on
I
the
don't
day.
even know what that means.
Yeah,
but do you feel different now than, let's just say, when you were 35? Oh, inside.
Depends on the day. Some days I feel fucking great and I let's roll. Other times, I'm sore. I ache. I work out with my kids, so I'm going to the gym. If I did leg day on Thursday, and Saturday I was walking like I'm an extra in the Golden Girls.
But bro, if I'm 55 and I'm laying down the fucking pipe like that, you know what I mean?
You're a good man.
You're not good. You're good.
It's
You're good.
it's just
You
so
don't
it's
feel old?
it depends on the day. But I feel great. But I'll look in the mirror and go, fuck, I look like I'm going to a Sharpay convention. Come on. But sometimes I just look and go, huh? But then again, she's again hot as balls, and so she looks at me and thinks I'm gorgeous. So I'm like, I'm good.
Right.
I'm good.
That's
how I feel.
You reach a point, I think it was in my mid to late 40s, that I was just like, I don't give a poop about what people think of me. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I'll get Brandon from Vegas. Johnson was on before, and I love
I
Brandon.
love Brandon.
Love him. One of my favorite content creators in Las Vegas is Brandon. And he said, what's the big dig you'll get from people? And I said, the two big ones are my age or that I'm bald. I don't care. I go, especially like when you're in this business, I mean, me to a much lesser extent than you guys, but you have to give somebody permission to offend you.
Yeah.
I don't give anybody permission to, my kids to some extent. You know, my wife, absolutely, because I just love her unconditionally. But I'm not going to give, Underpants 123, who has a private profile on TikTok,
Right.
who is hammering the home row keys from Joliet, Illinois, in the basement, wearing a wife beater, watching fucking 8 Mile on Beta. You know what Beta is? Probably no. Okay,
Is it like DVD?
Yeah, thank you. Gee, I just said that.
I love how you like cleared.
Oh, I have
Beta.
to. Yeah,
That's not that
I had a CD
VHS.
player growing up.
Beta.
VHS.
So I don't give those people permission. If they're really dicks, I just block them. That remove you from the conversation. Like, how do you guys handle that when you have people that
You just get better at it as you do this, right? You're never really good at that unless you're like public relations trained or something like that, or media trained about somebody making a hurtful comment about yourself. You never get used. You just get used to it as you go because you get so much as your posts blow up.
How do you handle it? Both you guys. How do you handle somebody that comes in just with scathing
I can kind
hatred?
of see some people not handling it well because it hits you pretty hard. I think you know how it.
I know a lot of people that don't take it well.
But
And wait, hold on. And they're influencers?
yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah.
And they have a problem with that, So
Okay.
they go down the rabbit hole of going back and forth with people and stuff like that. And that's when I'm able to see who has like a really good PR skills, like a way to maneuver to make this into a positive and make sure that everybody's reading those threads is on their side, to people who get really offended by it, by Underpants 1235,
Yeah.
and goes wild with it and kind of hurt themselves doing it. I've seen both. You just get used to it as you go. In the beginning, you just leave it alone. You don't want to reply back to some of those. So
Yeah.
I was one of those ghost guys that never used to say anything back to like weird comments. But now I just have fun with it.
Talia, do you reply to comments?
Yes and no. I don't know. It's a little bit hard for me. So when it comes to hate comments and how I deal with that, in the very beginning, when I first started out, I originally started on TikTok. And the way that I rank like the niceness of comment sections, I would say TikTok is the nicest. And then I would say Facebook is underneath. And then underneath that, I'm not really on YouTube, but underneath that is Instagram. I feel like Instagram is some of the worst. The reason why I don't put Facebook in last place or the meanest is because people will actually defend you in the comments. So I remember one time in a video, I said something so dumb. I said, oh, if you like banana runs, you need to get checked. Like, I just don't like banana runs. And someone was like, how dare you say this? You are so inconsiderate, blah, blah, blah. I'm allowed to like what I like. And then someone was like, it's not that deep. And I'm like, I like that. You see, because I don't need to do any work. And so when it comes to replying, I really don't, especially if they leave something negative or if they just look so miserable. And I just kind of play into it a little bit. And I'm like, oh, sorry. Like, I'll try harder next time. And then people underneath are like, dude, you're so miserable. Like, blah, 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 blah. So
Where's your barometer of how much you're going to take from a hateful comment or a volley of comments back and forth that kind of go down that road of just negativity? Where do you draw the line where you're gonna block somebody?
Oh, okay. So if I reply and then they just want to keep going, like they'll fight with everybody in the comments, sometimes I'll leave it because that interaction obviously is going to boost you, but I don't take part. I reply once, and if they want to keep going with me, I just leave it alone. Unless they're like literally trying to mention harm or attack other people and what they look like and everything, that's when I would block.
There's those level of hate comments that can be turned into something cool or positive or funny, and you take that on. And there's those comments you just know that there's no coming back. Like, this person is just so over here that I'm never going to be able to persuade this guy to anywhere in the middle. I just leave those alone. It's not a viral post until you see like 7 puke emojis in a row. You know, like that guy.
So if you're not getting hate,
I just leave that alone.
So true.
I'm not gonna
it's so true.
rebuttal a puke emoji.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But if you have some thoughts, like a legitimate, I've been there, I had this experience, blah 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 blah. This is wrong or whatever. I didn't get the same experience. I have some grounds. I got some grounds to work with this person, and I could probably persuade a hater into a person that might even go try that again. And at the end of the day, it just comes down to, can I help this post go further for this client at the end of the day, right? Like,
I'm going to teach you both if you don't know it. If you know it, stop me. But this is a great hack. Here's a great hack to keep the conversation going in comments, especially if you're getting hate comments. You take a screenshot of the hate comment, you upload it in the ChatGPT, and you say, and have it be familiar with who you are and your brand and your flavor, and then say, please give me 4 suggested replies
to
this comment that defend my brand and respectfully keep the conversation going.
I've never
How much
heard of that.
the intro of your brand you have to input before you get that answer? Not much.
No. What I do is I'll say, how well do you know me? I'm Jeff Fargo.
Oh, great.
In Las Vegas. How well do you know me?
And then it'll pop.
And then it'll go, well, you have Fargo Talks and you own a company called Fargo Factor and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, great. Is that all you know or do you know more? I always push it one more time. I'll go, oh, also, you used to be a title and escrow. You used to be in real estate. Blah, blah, you're from Canandaigua, New York, all this other stuff. And then I'll go, great, never forget that. And then it goes, boop, it's like a little thing, it's like memory.
Yeah, like memory.
no.
Yeah.
A little memory prompt will come up that's an internal thing that it goes into its own memory banks and knows who I am. So a lot of you, if you're spewing hate on me, you're fighting an AI platform infinitely smarter than you ever could be, you retarded motherfucker. So guess what? And yeah, I'm bringing retard back because Trump is in office. Trump's coming. I'm bringing retard back.
the
Sorry.
R word is back.
R word. We're bringing the
It's
R word
back.
back. Bring it. I'm deep sea fishing. Oh, I caught the R word. Here it comes.
Came out.
You're a fucking retard if you're going to fight me on the comments because there's an 85.9% chance you're fighting ChatGPT 4.0.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, so I recommend that to my friends, and they're like, "Oh my god!" I'm like,
good.
Why even? Because why
even
waste
bother?
your bandwidth?
Right.
Because you're coming from a place of you just want to grow, whether it's for yourself, and we're going to talk about your clients are influencers, right? And so you're trying to get yourself, your clients, and your clients' clients greater visibility on social media, right? And there's so many tools out there now that you can use that protect who you are.
I feel like we use like less than 10% of them.
Yeah.
You know, we're so
You do.
old school.
I know you do. I know.
0%.
Yeah.
And that's
I'm pretty
okay.
sure the guys in
I
our
just don't know.
production,
Yeah.
they have to be using it, right? If I was in our company's production line and they had to handle multiple accounts and they were running out of ideas, I can see how ChatGPT is becoming a huge part of their life.
Ew.
It's crazy to lay out all these ideas and all these, even the formats that they're doing. I feel like a lot of them is probably AI helped. They ask questions.
If you're managing several accounts, if you've got like a giant fucking screen and you're just looking at accounts of going up and whatever, whether it's Sprout Social or Hootsuite, whatever the goddamn platform is, and you're doing your thing, it's like, wait a minute, I can just copy and paste this in. And it's getting better all with every conversation. It gets better with learning my brand.
Yeah.
Or my clients' brands. Or like, say you could put in, XYZ widget company is your client and go, here's xyzwidget.com. Learn everything there is about them. You're going to defend and grow and celebrate their brand on social media as my social media assistant. Remember everything you can about them.
Yeah.
And then you drop comments in about them when you're posting.
Wow.
That's definitely happening in our production line for sure. It's just that something that I need to do for the agency side of it. It's a little different prompts than that, but that's where we're headed, And it's so funny because we actually have some AI technology within our umbrella of our company, and I'm so barely now. Fun fact: we still pitch 100% live posts, so 100% of our clients are getting live posts till this day. So there is no, and I've had like a kind of like a battle with CMOs out there about, if that's actually, tangible. And it's something that, because, we're in these deals with a lot of other agencies, and those agencies do social sometimes. So like I get like kickbacks from things that the practices that we do because it's a lot harder for them to actually do if they were to try to copy us because they're probably getting their clients and loading up the Hootsuite, does a whole month of content and press go and it's just going. We don't do that. Every single post that you see from our clients' post is live post. There's a human behind it at that time going. And I wouldn't be 100%, but if I had to put my money on it, I would put money on the guy that's growing it organically than the guy that's growing it with the Hootsuite.
I think so. Do you live post?
Of course.
So I live post my own stuff.
Yeah.
My clients, we go back and forth between live posting
Sure.
and post planning, but I think that the algorithm 100% gives you more love on any platform.
I think there's some numbers there about the recency of re-entering that account. If you're a human and you set up Hootsuite, that human is going to go into checking that account less than a guy that is naturally posting and who's a creator who cares about that 15-minute engagement. First 15 minutes, first 30 minutes, first hour. They're looking like I don't think a Hootsuite guy is doing that. And I think that might be the difference. Is that how many times are you going back to check what's happening with your account?
Right.
When it's all set up and done for the entire month.
So speaking of platforms, by the time this airs, TikTok might be gone.
Yeah.
What do you guys? What is your 0%? It's not going anywhere. 100%. It's going away. What do you think the chances are of TikTok going away in the United States?
I feel like I'm not entirely educated on the subject, but I have this is just my feeling within what I do know. Maybe a 60% chance.
That it's
that's going away.
Going away.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. It's just kind of up in the air. It's TikTok is trying its best to pause it or appeal it and everything, and they're just tearing it down. But I mean, Jen just spoke recently and said that apparently one of Trump's biggest funders has a lot of shares in TikTok. So who knows? Maybe I'm just talking out my ass. I don't know.
So what 0 to 100%? What do you think?
60%.
60%.
Oh, I'm in biz dev, right? I'm not really in the trenches of content creation and actually account management. I have to think about this type of stuff a lot more. From what I hear, nothing's happening on the 19th. I'll tell you that. 100% chance nothing's going to happen on the 19th. I think that's the start date of the 2-year run before somebody actually has to acquire it or something like that. I think that's the date.
Yeah,
the date
it's
of the
not
19th. Is the start of the 2-year gap that they're giving that organization to either restructure it or resell it to an American company, whatever that is. So nothing's happening on the January 19th, so that's 0% chance. Within the 2 years, I'm thinking there will be a buyer, and this will become an American company, and they will be able to hone the data into the thing. Interesting fact, and I brought this up because I knew that I was going to. When does this air, by the way? Do we know?
Great question. Don't know.
Okay. Great. Sometime in the next, in January, yeah?
This will drop in January.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have some exclusives I can drop here that won't come out until January. This
Absolutely.
is great. Oh, this is great. I have a couple. Anyway, so about this. I was just talking to a couple of my partners about it. One of the things about that's happening here, and I don't know what the emotional level is like of TikTok going away and what they think about this Chinese breach to data. I think the biggest reason this is happening is not because of the TikTok's momentum and America really wanting TikTok to be an American. I think it's because of this. The hack was called something. It was kind of like a typhoon hack. Okay, it's the largest telecommunication hack in the history of our globe that just happened to America by a Chinese company. And it was hacked into every telecommunication company, gazillions of data breach. And after that one incident, this whole because TikTok ban was a thing a long time ago, and it's been kind of lingering around for a long time.
Yeah.
I think the hammer came down after that breach. So it's becoming a much more serious, a government and data issue than just wanting a Chinese company that is popular issue. I think that's something that people have to recognize is that I don't think people understand how targeted our country really is. Cyber. A lot of people in the tech world, because I'm in this tech meetings a lot, and I don't know why I'm in it because I run the agency. I do the fun stuff.
Right.
But we have the AI company. Our company is 7 years old. Within the last 7 years, we've acquired two AR companies that now has turned into an AI company. And there's a lot of talks. And, these tech guys believe that World War III started like in 2017 in cyberspace. Like huge, crazy breaches going on recently after let's just say 2019 and on. So that, that history of that is probably what's skewing all of this along. But at the end of the day, creators like me who's worrying about like TikTok going away tomorrow, I don't think anything's going to happen on that end for a while. That's my thought.
I think it's scary times between drones flying overhead and like I have high-powered weapons in my house. Like if all I know is this, I live in Inspirata.
Is that your old hood? Is like that was in East Coast somewhere, right? Like, did you hear about the drones in New Jersey?
Oh yeah, in Jersey.
Yeah.
Oh God, yeah. No, they're like it's now like I'm at a point where if Baker, California, or Pahrump or Prim or any like outlier area ever like zombie apocalypse or like if they invade, they got to come through Inspirata. I'm on my fucking roof with my head on backwards. Like I'm Chris Kyle, American Sniper. Man. I'll just start taking people. I'm done. I'm done. If I see like multiple drones going overhead,
you're shooting.
I'm pulling
down.
out high-powered weapons and I'm taking them down. Don't care. Zero fucks given.
Why doesn't that happen already?
That's a great question. But by the time this drops, maybe we'll know. But a great question, my friend. It's bananas. Okay.
What do you think is going to happen to TikTok?
I think it's gone.
Wow.
I think it's gone. Like gone. I think it's gone soon. Like
so what's the move, guys? What's the move?
If TikTok goes?
Well, what's the move for a creator like Talia? You know what I mean? Disperse and work on other platforms. Make sure that you transition
Substack,
a lot of because if
X.
your number one platform is TikTok,
yeah,
a lot of us are. Is your number one platform TikTok?
Number one is
the number one follower account.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what would you? Let's say that you knew in 2 years, within the next year and a half, this is going to fizz out.
Oh, I'm just going to go hard on all my other platforms and just,
What's
hope
the
and
one?
pray. Oh, probably YouTube.
Let's go. I think that's the move.
I mean, I've heard
like
so
YouTube.
many things from so many different people being like, "Why aren't you on YouTube?" I don't know.
Are you not on it yet?
I kind of am, but I haven't posted on it in maybe like 6 months or something like that. But now I think I actually am going to start scheduling posts instead of live posting. I have so many years of content in my TikTok. I just have a platform where it can just pull everything. I can schedule it once a day, twice a day, 3 times a day, whatever I want, and just try to build it up from there, and then hopefully get monetized.
I equate content creation is like deep sea fishing. Like when I travel, if I can, I love to go deep sea fishing. When you do that, you put 15 lines in the water. Mm-hmm. Sometimes like the guys put stuff on kites and send stuff 200 yards out. You have lines deep, middle, you have sonar looking for the schools of fish. You don't know where your audience is, right? So the more platforms you can be, deploying content, the more likely you are to be. I have stuff pop on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
Facebook business page sometimes. Like I had Heather Collins talk about doing an Only Knees channel, and that she had like $95 in revenue she was making off subscribers already of just doing a reveal of her knee. Like what the hell? Ballistic.
On OnlyFans, or is it literally called Only Knees?
It's something that is on. She wanted to create her own channel called Only Knees, but she has something on OnlyFans. I think it was just a knee reveal, which is hilarious. I mean, she's fucking hilarious as it is, and so. But I'm like, you don't know. I have some stuff that will go on TikTok that will get hundreds of views. I'll take it down, but it'll have thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions on Facebook, on YouTube Shorts, on Instagram. And I'm like, oh my God. The toughest one for me to crack right now is X. That one, the only time I get traction on Twitter, X, is when I'll have usually it's a porn star that has a massive following and they'll retweeting, that something we're collaborating on and they'll share it. Then I'll get a bunch of views. Beyond that, X to me is the hardest. The easiest one is a tie right now between TikTok and Instagram.
Yeah, that's me
head
too.
Head to head.
TikTok for sure right now I think is giving out a good amount of love and engagement. I used to crawl and by the way, very low activity on my end. I've been just so sucked up on business and family. And I've, this might something that people need to talk about. I've gone through some kind of like a mental kind of thing. In my entire career, I've been doing this full time over 15 years now. Maybe there were 2 or 3 times I had this like downtime where, you go through some I think mental stress is a thing for creators.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like you just go through this downtime and it's hard for you to swim out of it when you actually get in it. This whole thing of lack of confidence, you know, heightened self-awareness, you know, motivation loss because of amount of work that, you know, the more work you have to do, the less, like, you know, I've never had so many times I've actually went to my phone, start editing, and just say, I give up, dude. It's like, you know, I've had that streaks just now, not too long ago. And that's something that a lot of people don't talk about because I just did career day for my 5-year-old daughter's kindergarten. They say the reason I did it when there's like dads that literally flew a helicopter into their field and stuff like that. I'm like, why am I doing this? Because 60% of the kids nowadays wants to be YouTubers. And when you ask them 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And you know what type of content? They just say, I want to be a YouTuber.
I want to be an influencer. How do you get, as a content creator, as an influencer, how do you get through content creator burnout?
Amen, bro.
I wish I could tell you.
I say go back to the basics and go within. That's what I did. You have to really go within, above and beyond the work. I try to, every time I go through that type of thing, I try to work on my own health, family, like within. As goofy as this sound, like meditation.
It's not goofy. Don't give yourself grace. I'm going to stop you for a second. Give yourself grace because when you're talking about doubling down on yourself, that's something most people will never do. And they will burn out and they'll never fucking build another piece of content again. So shame on them. So good for you for celebrating yourself, recognizing where you've got to make some changes and that you're doing that. So it's not goofy at all.
Well, I do that when in doubt. I don't know what to do, so I go
awesome
within.
that you're
you know
doing
what I mean?
that.
Sometimes I don't know what to do, and I just go, all I can do is work on myself. I would not expect anybody else to change or my industry to change for me or, you know what I mean? Who the fuck am I? I just need to work, get better at this myself. And that doesn't come from like recording more, doing more work. Usually for me, it comes down to more workouts, more better routines, more structure. You know, like it puts me at more of an ease about myself. And then I can, put that energy out more. Something is requiring too much energy to handle myself, I feel like. And for me to flip that, I need to be able to kind of calm that down for me to be able to help others. Sure. Because I'm in the situation where I wake up every day and I have to remember majority of my best friends work at my company. And this future of my company depends on what, you know what I mean? And a lot of income for my friends depend on this move. You know, so it's kind of a pressure. So, like, you know, the only way to pierce through that is if you get better yourself, then any mentorship, any book, you know, nobody can teach you how to do this because I think the real answer doesn't come from your business because business is going well. Everything's going good. You know what? You go into this mental fuck when things are going good, not when I was broke and like, you know, having trouble, like wasn't really like a small creator, wasn't really sure if I should do this full time or not. I had all this motivation. You know what I mean? I liked being broke.
What?
You know, I liked being
Can't
like
relate.
in a need because in that situation you kind of perform at a higher level.
That's true.
For you to keep that going when you actually have something coming in is the tough part, I feel like.
Talia, what do you do to combat influencer burnout?
I kind of like what Paul said. I want to like fall in love with it again. I kind of just think about like, well, why do I feel burnt out? Do I feel like a puppet to other companies and brands? Or is it because like I'm pushing myself too hard? Am I not doing things that I love? So then I kind of like take a step back and I reassess of like, well, what would make me happy right now? Would going to the beach make me happy? And I go to the beach and then I just see all these new perspectives. I get to meet new people and then I get to be in a setting that makes me feel happy and good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a farmer's market over there. I love farmer's markets. Wait, oh my gosh, they sell these really cool things at this farmer's market. Let me record it. And it's not even I need to do this because I need to get these views because I need to get to this place. It's like, this sparks joy for me. And so I will go and I fall in love with it all over again. I see a whole new perspective. And then I come back to Vegas with this new perspective of like, it's not that deep. It's really not that deep.
If I'm a small business and I'm pitching you on hiring you for your services, what is the correct way to pitch you? And more importantly, what is the incorrect way to pitch you?
Ooh. Let's see. So if a small business wanted to book me, let's just say, because I do like post on my page and then I also do social media management. So if they want social media management, I've never had to like pitch myself. It's all been like 100% incoming. And they're like, hey, I got referred from so-and-so, let's have a meeting. And then I'll go in and I'll tell them what I would, be able to provide for them. But honestly, I'm kind of booked up. So then I just say, actually, I work with an agency called Jump Force.
Did you know that?
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even know that.
Yep.
A lot of these guys work with us within our ecosystem.
Okay.
And they're pretty much our executives. So Talia would be considered like a huge, if we had rankings. We don't have rankings.
She's in your
our
stable.
company. She's
in your
actually
stable.
one of
And
the biggest executives that we have.
And she's a thoroughbred
People
in
don't
your
know.
stable.
This is news to me.
People just don't know.
But I don't want to continue down this road. So if a business here in Las Vegas or anywhere is going to hire you as a content creator / influencer, what is the best way to pitch you? And more importantly, what is the best way not to pitch you?
Is that best thing to say or best way to reach out to her? Like best thing to approach, best approach?
Best approach.
Best approach? Okay, so the way that I prefer and I would want you to email me. Please email me. I don't really check my DMs anymore. I just get so many bot messages and followers that want to have a conversation. If you're like a brand that wants to work with me, please just email me. I prefer it. So it's also all on record as well. Because I'll get messages as if they think I'm seeing it. And they're like, hey, I'm opening up a place or whatever in a few weeks, come through. And they're like, hey, haven't heard from you, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, I'm so sorry, but this is unless you're going to reach out through my business partnerships, unless you're a registered business and you show up in my business partnerships folder, I probably am not going to see it.
So if I'm Bob and I own Bob's Babka Barn.
That's a pretty
one
good.
more
I
time.
would make a video about that.
Bob's Babka Barn.
I like
fucking love
babkas.
it.
Right?
Yep. I'm already in. I'm doing it for
Right?
free.
Exactly.
Right? Like I'm creative. I smoked a lot of weed back in college.
Same.
Inherited some parents' money, and we're Jewish. We're Jewish. We're all in. We're going hard in the paint with babkas. So
In a barn.
Bob's Babka Barn is what we're doing. Okay. How should I write the email? Because I want to dive deep on this because a lot of people that of my audience are entrepreneurs. And so they're looking to get their brand out there. So if I own Bob's Babka Barn and I'm in Barnstable,
Of course. Why wouldn't you be?
or Bakersfield,
Oh,
or
okay.
Boston,
This
Oh.
continues.
or
I love
Bimini.
it.
Travel fee.
So what is it that, how am I going to craft the email to you to get your attention in a positive way?
Okay, well, obviously, if you're not in Las Vegas, you have to pay me. Because actually, I do majority of my stuff for free. And I'm willing to go if I find it interesting, But this is how I want you to lay it out. You can put the, email. If you always say paid partnership, of course I'm going to click on that, Talia X, Bob's Babka Barn, paid opportunity.
Love it.
And it'll be like, hi, Talia, I'm a big fan of your Instagram or TikTok or whatever platform that they found me on. I am opening up this. I would love to work with you. What is your rate for a TikTok, Instagram, or both? And I just go, hey, Bob, thanks for reaching out. This is how much I would, charge for this, or both. Let me know if you have any questions. That's really as simple as it is.
Now, here's the 32-cent question, my friend. What is the incorrect way for Bob's Babka Barn to email you that you're going to be like, spam?
Okay, so Bob's Babka Barn, and then probably the subject title says, come in, it
looks like a PR release, basically.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't know if this is like an invite that everybody's going to or if this is for me. Yeah. I have so many little nuances in this talk. Please go ahead. I don't want to stop.
Oh, it's just probably just not well formatted. Just I have a Babka Barn in Bakersfield. Come in. That's it. Bob. I'm like, well, I'm not going to travel for that, Bob. And it doesn't seem like you really want me to come in and that you just sent this to 100 other people. I want, I'm like, if you wanted to seek me out, then address me by name, add some respect to it probably.
And let's even say it's Bob's Babka Barn in Henderson.
Okay.
Right here in Southern Nevada. And the thing that I see, just to add to the conversation, because again, I'm at a much lower level than you guys, but once or twice a week, I'm flattered. I get these emails from people that'll say, like, I love it where I'm going to come on your podcast. No, you're not, motherfucker.
Oh.
You're not coming on.
You don't get that.
I do.
Are you serious? It's just like they assume that they can
I
land
get DMs. I get DMs of people that'll say, this is a great one. You'll love this. I'm going to be in town. This is a Thursday. I'm going to be in town Friday through Monday and want to come on your podcast. Let me know when you can get me on.
Oh.
Jeff.
I'm like, you got a better chance of me regrowing bangs than coming on this podcast, if that's your approach. And like, there's nothing like if you want to come on this show, it's have an audience that helps, but also like lead with, I love your content. Refer to a certain clip that you saw or a certain episode that you watched and why you liked it. Then you've got me. I don't care if you have 4 people that follow you. If you're like, I saw your episode with whomever. I loved how you guys went back and forth. Like, I loved it when Drew Belcher was saying, here's the top 5 undisputed pizza places in town, non-negotiable. I love that when he did that. Because he's like, I'm Dirk Diggler. Here it is. I got the biggest dick in the room, and this is what I think the best pizza places are non-negotiable. It's my opinion. Fuck you if you don't like it. Come at me with something like that.
Right.
Or I like the ones where it's 14 different fonts. It's a copy and paste that they're sending to everybody. You get those. That it's like, dear, and then it's insert name here.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes I'll get like Mr. Fargo.
You know, I don't have my name on my name field, and they just cop. So this says, Dear Las Vegas Food and Travel.
That's funny. That's funny. I have the hang loose sign in my Instagram name, so they say, hey, Tallz.
It shows to me also the infancy of what we're doing, whether it's a podcast or a content creator or an agency of content creators, that we're still in the wild, wild west, man, of what's going on, which I love. Like that is just, come on, come on. I love that part of what we're doing, and that people just need to take more. It's like, we're not just another person. Like this is a craft. This isn't, it's a job, but I take such pride in this. Like you guys take great pride in what you do. Absolutely. And it shows because of so many people now are following you. You guys have massive audiences because of that. But as Bobka Barn would say, mazel tov. Mazel.
We're still going. I love
mazel.
it.
My dad's Jewish. I can do it.
I'm down.
I get a little leeway on that one. But it's like, we take so much pride in what we do. You guys do that. For someone to approach you, take the time.
That's the point. I think that's the point right there.
Just be respectful of the work you're putting into this. That for Talia, for you, for someone to say, like, if you do some type of review somewhere, let's say you're at a farmer's market somewhere, and oh my gosh, I saw you in South Beach, and you did this farmer's market thing. I love that. I've never seen somebody eat a conch that way. Like, God bless. That could have gone different ways. I apologize. And it's like, but then they're like, oh my God, I remember posting that last month when I was in South Beach. I love conch fritters. Like, you're more likely then to interact with those people.
Right.
And the reason why I'm asking these questions is that I'm a firm believer. I used to work for Greenspun Media Group here in town for like 5 years. So I know the media end of it, like traditional media end of it. Well, now it's like they're tanking. That whole business model is just going, who reads print stuff anymore?
Oh, well, it's visible too. The
like
desperation.
Who reads
is
the
visible.
RJ? The RJ's gone from this giant paper to now it's. I'm reading this. This is the Sunday RJ.
Wow.
Like that's it. What? No. Everyone is video.
Yeah.
I have my phone and I just go on and here's my news or my favorite people that I have notifications. That if one of you guys is posting something, it comes up, oh, where is she now? What's she doing?
Oh,
and that's going to go in my memory bank of a place to go for like the best hot chocolate in town.
Memory updated.
So I think that's just a big thing that we need to talk about because people need to be reaching out to you more. And this is not weird. I'm not getting paid for any of this, and they're not getting paid for any of this. This is just, I love both of you, and I love what both of you are doing, and that's why I've kind of fallen into this influencer kind of slipstream now.
Yeah,
of people
you really
coming on
discovered
here.
us.
It's hilarious.
It's crazy.
And again, and I've said, I'm Switzerland. I don't take sides. I love everybody. I will always provide air cover for you. When somebody comes in the comments and are complete assholes, I block them. I do that. That's out of respect. I'm not going to take up your bandwidth. I block them. Goodbye. But it's more about people need to be hiring you more. And so I just want to get that out there. And those will be clips that'll be done that to say, hey, if you want to hire, either of you, this is what you need to do.
Yep.
Give a shit.
Yes.
That's
plain
it.
and simple. Plain and simple. If you treat me like a human, I will treat you like a human. That's
It's not even that. There's a lot of marketing agencies that represent some of these clients, and the clients themselves have this old mentality of invite strategies when those are the times when clients used to say, does this social media thing really work or not? This is before Keithley effects, before people started believing in it. They used to have this like cheap, wide and thin strategy where they reach out to everybody and say, we're doing this opening. You get free food, come post for us.
Yeah.
And you'll get all the lowest hanging fruit guys to come in and do it for you for free, or people who, like Talia, just needs the content, needs to go there.
You're looking for content. And that's a great point. It's a great point that these people don't understand.
They don't care about the money.
You're content creators. And yes, a lot of times it happens in the comments. They're getting paid. They're not disclosing. And we'll talk about that if you want to. But really, you're content creators. You're looking for content.
Yeah,
That's right.
And so if someone's got a cool concept like, oh my God, I love Bobka. I love guys named Bob. And some of my best memories are in a barn.
Perfect.
Check. Bob's Bobka
I'm
barn in Henderson.
I'll help these guys for free.
I'm there.
There's a motivation.
Off of Stephanie, I'm there. By the way, I'm being fictitious. Don't fucking be going to Stephanie looking for Bob's Bobka barn. That's also what will happen. It's like, oh my fucking God.
Wow.
The other thing I've seen, and I wanted to ask you about this, is what types of content do you see that goes viral? I will give you an example to prime the pump to get you guys thinking. I just had on Rochelle Ryan, adult film star. Love her. She's just one of the sweetest girls. She's really nice. Her big thing is she's a cougar. Excuse me, unless she dates younger guys. Mazel tov. Again, good for you. I said, where's the best place in town to find for a cougar to go? Where's the best place in town Where's the best place in Las Vegas to find a cougar? And she kind of danced around and then said, Grape Street.
Love it.
Right?
Yeah.
It's posted last week. It's at 1.2 million on Instagram, and that we collabed. So, but that's still, I run the numbers. I can teach you how I do that. It's still gone viral. It's still considered viral. And it's at like over 400,000 on TikTok, which is just my audience of 38,000. So that's super viral, right? The comments are hilarious. And a couple people put, where is it?
It's in downtown Summerlin, right?
Yes.
I never even heard of it.
I'm like, fucking Google.
Yeah. Oh, I get that all the time.
I just replied back,
Jeff.
Google. One person put in, I put in and got Grape Street Drive and couldn't, and there's like a Grape Street Drive or Avenue or something here in Las Vegas. They went there.
There's actually a Grape Street.
Could you picture like this motherfucker like put his Axe body spray on?
He's like, oh, this is the time.
He's listening to fucking 50 Cent or whatever and getting all jacked up with his playlist on Spotify and fucking getting all ready to go and with the fucking eyebrows and let's roll. And he drives to Grape Street Avenue. Wah, wah.
Oh, no.
And it's probably at the end of Grape Street Avenue, goes back on the thread and is asking a 55-year-old married man where to go to find cougars.
Oh, my goodness.
So there's my priming of the pump for you guys.
Well, that's the number one thing. That's what everybody's coming for. They want that. I mean, what happened to the Grape Street? The point of that is, did Grape Street see some hike from this? Is there a lot of guys looking for cougars in Grape Street now?
Well, there is.
See, well, that's
if you look at the
ROI,
comments,
right?
the ROI is massive to the point where I'm like, I reached out to Rochelle and I go, do you know anybody that owns Grape Street? Like they should be like, we should be talking to them about this because, I said, and
so good.
You don't go in because everyone knows her, but I said, you need to send a friend in with a phone and just like,
to check
put
out.
it like in a pocket and put it on record and just film the sausage factory that's in there, the fucking sword fighting over they have great charcuterie there, by the way, over a charcuterie board.
Agreed.
And you just see like the guys just kind of looking around and there's like, I feel bad for like probably the 5 women there in their 30s, 40s, or 50s looking for a cub. And so I said, you need to send somebody in there. on a Friday for happy hour and see what's happened to see if there's an ROI. Because if there is,
Well, there will be, Jeff. That's the whole point of this entire thing that we're doing, right?
It's proof of concept that you go back, like you even like do that without the intention of it going. You just don't know what's going to go viral, but it goes viral. Then you have proof of concept to go back to Grave Street and go, "Hey, this is what's happened. Have your business? This is when we posted it. Since then, run your numbers in your POS system. Are your numbers up at all? Nighttime? Are they up for happy hour? You know, are you selling more fucking old fashions? That's what guys drink now to be fucking cool. Is a fucking old fashioned.
By the way, what we're talking about here is very important because there's 90% of the agencies out there that offer social media for clients like Grape Street will not be able to accomplish what you're talking about there. The reason that our agency is taking everybody's lunch right now, it's literally what's happening, right? We're moving in fast. And this is why there's a controversy out there of creators versus agencies and PR companies and stuff like that. It's because there's a huge momentum of our agencies just taking over these social media accounts because of results. There's a lot of guys that will manage your account that will not be able to achieve that type of a virality ever, doing the strategy that they're currently doing now. But even going back to the invites, Jeff, the biggest...
Go ahead. Our food's here.
Oh, I
go
love
ahead.
it.
No, keep going. We'll just eat at the same time.
Mishap that's happening here still when I get these invites, which is 90% of our emails, by the way. If you go into her email inbox right now, you'll see a ton of incoming. So the first thing is to leverage and really understanding what you are about to do about your campaign and knowing if your product or what you're offering has any leverage out there. It's like, a good example is like, none of my friends are going to come support you when you're just selling coffee. Nobody's going to come. No. You have to know, is your product good and is it fun? Is it Instagram friendly? If you actually have that, then you'll have better chance of bigger guys showing up just for the content of it. Because at the end of the day, I would rather go shoot something that's cool, even if there's no money involved in it, for my own leverage.
So it's still a win for everybody.
So if you know that, then you should just leverage that.
It's still a fucking win, man.
But if you invite them, if you have that, that's a plus. And if you invite them for them, honoring them, because at the end of the day, the funniest thing to me is, I gave them a free Happy Meal. So it should be an even trade.
Free babka.
Free babka. So it should be an even trade. It's never an even trade. For a person like Talia to come post for you, that's thousands of dollars value versus your boba.
Yeah.
To me, it's not even, I don't think she should even put like a paid partnership thing in there when I just got a free boba from somebody.
We could have Bob's Babka Barn and then Billy's Boba, a Bonanza. Like right next to each other.
Yeah, right next to each other in the same parking
And you'll never get Talia unless, ever. So the number one thing for me is to see if do you have budget for this? Is there any money? I don't care if it's $100 coming out of your budget per client. I would just make sure that your approach is completely different from everybody else's approach that are wanting free posts. That would be my number one thing. Make sure that your email or your approach is completely something about paid. You're ready to pay.
Okay.
Great. Awesome.
Okay.
And number two, think about that. Like if I was a mom and pop restaurant owner and I only had $1,000 to spend and I need a lot of guys to come into it, I would probably make like a gamified, hey, out of you guys, if you post for us, whoever gets the most amounts of share, I'll give out $1,000 cash because that's all I have. You know what I mean? Or something like that. Then you can kind of like gamify it and maybe people will be, you just have to make sure that that's dedicated to them. Why would she want to do it?
I agree. All right. So we've got CJ's Italian Ice and Custard, who is a paid sponsor of the podcast.
Is this your first paid sponsor?
Second. Ooh. But I have the funny thing, and I have 2 more already lined up.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm capping it at 4 because then it's from that full disclosure. Then my podcast is paid for. Like I'm good. Come on in, kids.
Just one kid.
One kid.
What you got, honey bunny?
Oh, I got some good stuff.
Wow.
So first, I got some of our best sellers. So I got a blueberry crumble right
Wow.
here.
My good hell.
We have an Oreo cheesecake crumble on vanilla custard as well. Cookie butter concrete.
Goodness.
And our Earl Grey lavender gelati. And we actually brew our teas in-house. Which
Oh, my goodness.
makes
Of course you do.
Yeah. And then this is courtesy of CJ.
What's that?
For you.
Chocolate?
This is, yep.
Oh,
Oreo cone,
Christ.
chocolate custard.
What did you tell him? What did you tell him to get that?
No, he does
Chocolate.
it. He does it. He does it because he knows me, and I just thank you.
Yeah, which one would you like?
Oh,
Probably
you
the
can
Earl
put them
Grey.
all in.
Yeah, we'll try 'em,
We'll do
we'll
a
try 'em.
family style.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah, absolutely.
Thank you.
Talia,
Thank you.
did you bring your dairy peel?
Yeah, so
Pill?
I'm like severely lactose intolerant, so I have to go get my dairy pills and spit my gum
Dairy
out.
peel?
My dairy pills.
Oh, pill. I'm like peel.
Oh, don't worry, I'll show you.
Okay, please do.
Bring 2. I'm just kidding, though.
We could
No,
chop
no,
them and
it's-
snort
I'm
them, honey,
good.
if you
I'm
want
good.
to. I don't,
All right. One's
I
good.
don't care. It is and I've gotten, I'm almost on 2 years. I'm at 78 episodes I've dropped. And now it's, I average anywhere from, thank you. You're fine. I'm not interrupting at all. I'm now anywhere from 8 to 13 million people every month are watching my content, which is bananas. And so now like I said, I've got 2 sponsors, and now I'm going to cap it at 4, and that's it. And then that covers my costs for all production costs. Everything is the
It's a nice
podcast
production.
is paid for.
Let me be the first one to tell you about podcast production. I think I've told you this. The reason that I have such a high respect for podcast guys in the game, and we do it too. We produce Phil's podcast. That's a fucking passion project.
Oh hell yeah!
You are putting money into this. It's not like we're
Yeah.
getting gazillions of YouTube.
You don't do this to make money.
CPM. This is not generating that much revenue. If anything, somebody could go into short form strategy and make a lot more money a lot quicker than trying to build a podcast.
Dude,
go.
I'm almost 2 years in, and I'm breaking even now.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So for me to get paid back what I have, I use this as a loss leader for my marketing company.
That's exactly right.
Like-
But the ROI in the background is significant.
Massive.
People, even if a couple thousand people watch this, out of that, a lot of good things happen.
What
You know
happens? What happens is that like people will talk. They'll see me talking, and we'll clip it up about how I use AI. People slide in my DMs. Wait a minute, can you tell me that again, or how can you help me? And I go, well, we can do a strategy call if you want. I'll tell you exactly how I do it. I'll record all that in order. So even if you use me, don't use me, but then you've got marching orders to go ahead, and I always give people deliverables. Always.
I love it.
With zero expectations in return. But if they have a budget and they can afford me, I have people now I'm talking to looking at white labeling me.
Wow.
To just use me, but they're going to take credit for it. I don't have an ego. I don't need
Same.
to post that I'm working with XYZ client. I don't care anymore. As long as my kids are fed, as long as my wife is happy and we're traveling and doing our thing, mazel tov. I'm good. So let's get on to lactose pills. What do you got there, kiddo?
These are lactose pills because I don't make the lactose or lactase enzyme. So
If you follow Talia, you've seen her take this like numerous times.
I've
on
gone like viral off of this. So I actually made a
hilarious.
video about, have you guys heard of like Amano, Italian food in Las Vegas?
Oh, yeah.
So my friend Phil, he does the social media of it. And, it's gone crazy viral so many times over. And like one of my first like viral videos in Vegas was about Amano. So it's been about 4 years since I've gone, but I just met a new friend and they were like, where I've always wanted to go? Amano. I said, really? Okay, I can absolutely make that happen. And they're like, are you serious? So I messaged Phil. He set it up. We went and I'm like, okay, Amano, it goes crazy every single time, but it's not like my post would like do anything that crazy. So that's my most viral video now. And it's all about dairy pills, actually. So I said, my hook was, this place is a lactose intolerance person's worst nightmare. And it's me. I'm the lactose
Hilarious.
intolerant person.
I love it.
And so I told him how I eat dairy pills. I think that video on Instagram has over 20 million views now. I think on TikTok it has like over 6 million views. And then on Facebook, I don't even know how many views
Are they
it
a
has.
client now?
No, that's Phil's
That's
client. I
been
will
Phil's
never touch
client for a
Amano.
long
Okay, so
time.
here's a freebie for you. Phil should do a remote there. He should do a podcast remote there.
We can do that. We've done remote podcasts
He
before.
should do a remote of his podcast there, and like have Talia come in maybe, and so she's taking her like doing the same
I'm
thing
taking
right
my
now.
dairy pills right
Done.
now.
Right? Because like what we'll end up doing now is to say CJ's Italian Ice and Custard is if you're lactose intolerant, it's a nightmare for you. However, this is an unpaid sponsor is whatever Prevacid or whatever.
Costco, hit me up.
two pills down the drain.
Two pills. Oh, you're
ready to
messing
rock
up. How
and
long do
roll.
you have to wait for
Mean
until you
business.
can do it?
They suggest it like 15 minutes before, but it's okay. They can say with the first bite of dairy, so we're good.
Okay, fine. Because I'm eating this. I'm gonna.
That's fine. Let's go in.
I'm whipping this out and sticking it in my mouth.
Are we
Which I've
doing
never
this a
said-
certain way?
which
Are we
I've-
just
no.
just
And
we
digging
have a
in?
process. So we always look like when we shoot
Where's the
videos,
camera?
everything's on the table. We take a nice little quick shot, maybe some individuals if we want. Oh, wow. Look at that. So good. Wait, let me get a little scoop.
Oh boy!
Wow. And
Where's
then
the camera? Oh, here
Yeah,
Look at
you
that.
guys
Look
are-
at
you
that
guys are
drip.
Each there, each different one camera.
look at that. And then we cheers. Boom. And then we
I feel like there's
throw
some
it
kind of a
down.
marshmallow component on
Yeah,
top.
mine
Is
has
there like a
some fluff on there.
marshmallow-ish
Oh my God.
thing on top?
I don't know.
Oh my
Mine
God.
is cheesecake bites, so it's just so much dairy going on.
Full disclosure, it's like 10 a.m. right now, right? It's like 9:30
And I just
a.m.
was chewing mint gum.
It's 10:50 in the morning. We're eating custard.
This is
So-
nothing abnormal for me. I have
so
seafood
against
boil in
my
a couple
diet
hours.
too. On top of that, I'm like trying to be good, and it's Monday, bro.
CJ's, in my opinion, makes the best chocolate milkshake in town. It's like Jesus Christ himself touched CJ's and went, "Thou shalt make chocolate milkshakes." Boop.
Really?
No
I've
frill,
never
no
had.
nothing, just straight up.
I'm a straight, like, I'm doing this. John, the owner, and I are friends, so this is a chocolate cone with a chocolate dipping, which I love. But you give me a chocolate milkshake, like when I'm going to a new ice cream place, chocolate milkshake. That's
Are you
what
a
I get.
sweets person? in
Yes,
general? You're
big time.
You order desserts.
Hell yeah.
I used to be never that. Are you a dessert
Hell
person?
yeah.
Oh, I'm sweets over savory any day. Any
So you
day.
actually leave room for dessert?
Oh no! In my videos, I say I have my second stomach for dessert.
Oh no shit.
For you.
I
Like a little
love-
itty bitty cute little Asian cow with multiple stomachs. Look at you.
Exactly.
You're
you know.
adorable. Well, and the thing is,
That's a clip, by the way. That was a clip. Eat a little.
Not my first rodeo, brother.
Itty bitty little Asian cow.
An adorable
That
little
is-
itty bitty Asian
That's
cow
gonna
she
hit.
is.
That's $1.5 million.
She's like those
right
cute,
off the
like
bat.
those little like kitties that go like this. She's like an itty bitty cow
Yes.
with two. She's got a dessert stomach and then her
Oh.
Andre stomach.
Solar
The
power.
times
a-
that I've bought those for no reason whatsoever. There's
wait, can I
like
get
17
another
of them at
spoon?
my house. Here you go.
Perfect. You.
It's adorable.
This
What's
one, I
this?
think it's the Earl Grey one.
This is like a shake.
I don't know, dude. Some kind of concrete.
This
Some
is
sort of cookie
She,
butter.
she said it. The thing also, Talia, with you is when I had Phil and Drew and Jenny on, which is like the murderer's row.
real quick.
Right?
You call her Jenny. Does anybody else I know call her Jenny? I thought I knew her pretty
Did
well.
you make that nickname for her,
I don't
or
know
did
if
she
she's ever
introduce
gave
herself
me
as
the
Jenny?
right.
No, I just made it up.
Oh, okay. See, there we go. There we go. It's a term of endearment.
Awesome.
I just
Perfect.
made it up.
Love it.
I love her. I love her. And she's been on 3 times. She has a record of being on Fargo Talks.
Wow.
Once solo, and then twice bringing on other content creators.
Well, the fact that she even came on here 3 times is like not
I'm flattered.
the fact
really
that
likes
it's
you.
No.
you know this is not just another person. This is Starfish. You know, she's just such a huge
She's a monster, dude.
like I'm so thankful that we're good friends with her.
She is a monster in
She
your industry.
Comes and like when we do our podcast, and I say ours, it's not mine. It's Phil's podcast. It just happens at our office, and we're in it all the time. It just seems like a very casual talk amongst friends because we're all such good friends. We see each other all the time. And it's different when you see her in another podcast because that's kind of like a big thing for her. You know, she doesn't usually do that. The fact that she's been on here 3 times, Jeff, should tell you something.
I'm
That's
flattered.
Grace. That's a lot of love right there.
I am flattered by it. And the thing is, Paul, with her, she knows this is a safe space. Sometimes she gets pissed at me about camera angles and
Really?
Oh yeah. Oh, she fucking lit me up one time, and I'm like, I'm not trying to do you dirty, honey. I love you, but like she does this. And I have to talk to her about it. Like, I'll talk to her before this comes out, but like, she'll do this and be over like this and like this. And so it's like, no, honey bunny, you got to sit straight. Like, I'm going to give you half a Xanax before you come on
Oh
next
my
time.
goodness.
You got to sit straight. But her opinions, she just slings it. And I mean, she vetted me. It was 3 months of DMs over and over and over and over and over again. And finally, like, first she saw my content. She followed me back. And then it was finally like, okay, I'll come on. I think it was August. She came in the first time. And we could have talked forever. We still would have been talking. She was great. And we just had this amazing conversation. And what I always do with especially with influencers, anybody has a big audience, I'll add you as a collaborator. You don't have to accept it. It's okay if you don't. So some she does, some she doesn't. But there is even some that there is one that she talked about. She has a guy that sends her dick pics and she charges that guy
Yeah, $25.
$25,
Yeah.
which That went viral.
They always pay.
She didn't accept the collab, and it went viral on TikTok and viral on Instagram. On my channels, and she's like, I think I picked up like 6 more clients.
Dick pic clients. I love it. You know?
Oh my gosh.
I'm dying.
I think I saw a clip of that on your podcast where she says some of these people, it becomes a thing because they get joy out of paying too. On top of that,
yeah, I've heard of that before.
Continues, you know?
Financial domination.
Yeah.
So it is, to me, and again, the comments are hilarious because women are like, wait a minute, I'm getting dick pics all the time. You're monetizing this? How do I get his Venmo? And I'm like, ask. Even then I'm stepping in because she's not going to answer all those. I'm like, ask for the Venmo.
That's crazy.
Say that if you want me to look at this, you're going to pay me $25. Mm-hmm. And women's like light bulbs are going off all over the country. It's hilarious. Yeah. But so I
was
went nuts.
yesterday years old when I found out that Starfish has an OnlyFans. She's tried the OnlyFans thing because she saw another person do
correct
do OnlyFans that's in our space.
What kind of content?
Zero porn. It's just like some.
She's not doing porn.
But
she's not doing porn.
You know, she actually created because she's dipping her. Can I say something nice about Starfish?
Please.
One thing because I was listening to this and I always thought. If I was, you know who I would, if I was a high level client, I would also like to have Starfish not only on the creator and social media front, but as a PR person. Have you ever seen one of the things that I'm very shocked in how good she is in these kind of situation is when she gets into this kind of like a public debate or public argument and public situations where a real PR person would be needed for a high-level client when they get into this situation because you can easily get canceled by saying something wrong, you know, in a public setting. But how she maneuvers and manages herself and brings her topics and her side up to the front in public setting.
She's so good, dude.
It's something that only few journalists or some of these people that are in PR has that skill. So if I were a high-level client, I would probably, because, you know, another thing this leads into is what does PR do? Well, I think the PR friends that I work with is really good at times when they actually need PR. It's one of those things that you have them around just because you need this crisis management if you're about to get canceled. And how you handle yourself in those kind of moments. And every single word that goes out to the public matters. And when you need that, when you're not that person that is really good at that, you need public relations. You know what I mean?
Well, you're a business owner. You're not a, you know, let's move all this stuff.
Sorry,
no, you're fine. No, you're such a mom.
I am.
You're such
really
a mom.
I kind of want to taste though.
I love it. Can I give me that one?
This one?
Yeah.
Oh, this is
I like
cookie.
this is my favorite one. It's the Earl Grey one.
Of course, it's Earl Grey.
I'm like, where should we?
This is very,
we'll
very
find
cookie.
somewhere. And
tastes
This
just
is
like
one of
this.
my favorites too.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
This one here.
Yeah. Okay. I love what we're doing right now. This is organic, advertising for a business. This is what we're doing, right? This is Phil should be doing this kind of stuff.
We have
done some. I did a donut
There's a lot
taste
of
test.
a product display sponsorships that we've taken and remote. You know, we're the agency of record for Tallz Group, so we've done Tallz venues, and we've done we're the agency of record for Station Casinos, so we've done Station Casinos venues and stuff like that. And those are more. You know, Phil does it for more Jump Force relationship things, but he should start take. Oh, we did go into Bulldoggies, had an eating contest, so we do that. We just haven't been to Amano yet, but yes. Dropping this kind of stuff at a podcast, amazing. By the way, did you know Phil's testimonial about how much business he got off of that top 5 influencer clip that you guys did with Drew that flipped the industry upside down? Because there's a lot of you know what I mean? You got some abrupt end of the bargain on that.
This is the second podcast I've been on where we've addressed what Drew has said.
Oh, by the way, today their holiday episode at our office is dropping, which was Drew, Jen,
and me,
Phil, and Talia.
I saw the picture.
That's gonna have some fireworks in there. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
Well, it's again. I love Phil. I love Drew. I love Jenny. I love Talia. And to have separately, but to come in and have an honest conversation about like, and there's questions we're going to talk about, like, what are some businesses in town that you like? What are some stuff that are, stuff that you're not a big fan of? And again, if you're like, I don't want to talk about that, that's fine. People are in different parts of their lives, right? Mm-hmm. Jenny is somebody who she's more seasoned. She has a monster audience online that's not going anywhere, So for her to sit back and go, these are the 3 people I would hire if I was going to hire an influencer in town.
And I had no money. I mean, there's a lot of stipulations.
And I have
right?
no money, right? If I have $1,000 a month, here's who I'd hire. And like when Drew got that question, Talia was one of the people that he mentioned, right? And other people lost their minds.
That's what I can't,
Their minds. And again, it wasn't a slight on them. It was more about it's who's top of mind to Drew. I'm speaking for Drew, but who was top of mind to Drew at that very second I asked him that question. And I'm sure he knows 30 other people that he would have talked about. But in that very second, when I pushed him on that respectfully, he listed, certain people. That's all that happened. But it shows the instability of influencers
the ego and
in
the
this
mental
town.
fuck. Yep.
In that, and again, I'm not knocking anybody because I'm Switzerland. I'm making an observation. It's obvious that went ballistic when I had again, the ones that go viral are always the ones that you never know. You never think they're going to go viral for the most part, right? And that just went not even that viral online, but people talking because I got blown up.
Me too. Who the fuck am I? Why am I getting blown up? But I'm hearing that. I never cared anything about, like, even if that post, I saw it, and I had zero, I didn't even, you know what I mean? I guess the reason is because our agency is always on both sides. We get invited, and we invite.
Right.
So we do influencer reach outs for clients.
Sure.
You get to know all of these little nuances about each individual's, how they work with the clients and all that when you do that. And there's a lot of, whenever I get, why did this person get it and not me? I immediately kind of get turned off by that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
and I know what you mean to the point where I have said to other influencers, if you feel that you were painted in a bad light and you want to come in and talk about it, come. Mm-hmm. Like another one who vetted the fuck out of me, Heather Collins. I love her. People either love her or they don't. I love Heather. She's been nothing but good to me. She came in here and slinged it. Just freaking drop bombs. Awesome. It was consensual. It was fun. She is a huge advocate of Vegas nostalgia, which unlike no other person I've talked to. She's been in the
game way before anything because of radio. You
yes.
know what I mean?
And so
she was a person that I regularly listened to before I even met her.
Heather is media savvy.
Yep.
And now she's an influencer on the social media end, and she's learning how to work those things. She is imperfect, just like the rest of us, but she's adorable. She doesn't have 2 stomachs like you do, but she's adorable.
To me, it was only a matter of time before Heather actually got to that point because of her voice.
And I think that if there's anybody who's out there who's going to become like the next monster, like with Keith Lee leaving. By the way, Keith Lee's great. Everyone loves him. But guess what? Keith Lee was also asking for money off the record from a lot of people in town when he went in to do a review in different places. That people,
I would love to dig into that.
And that people don't know that. But I know I have one person that told me that has a business in town that shall remain nameless, but a person I trust implicitly who owns a business that Keith came in and said, hey, love your stuff, would love the review, blah, blah, blah.
I've heard that too, but I've never heard that.
Pay me.
So good.
Keith Lee takes money and has taken money far longer than people know. So
I mean, don't you think rightfally so?
But rightfully so.
Yeah.
So again, I'm not hating on Keith Lee. If you think I am, go fuck yourself. I'm not hating on Keith Lee. I'm stating a fact. Mm-hmm. That's it. And he's smart. He now doesn't even live here anymore. He moved to Texas because he's now more of a national brand. Like he was on Shannon Sharp's podcast. Like he's blowing up and he's capitalizing on that. Mazel tov, go. Go. He has outgrown Las Vegas, and you're going to pay giant money now to have him come back here and blow up your place.
By the way, Keith Lee's movement, that whole increase, has helped us so tremendously because every non-believer became a believer after Keith Lee. Every non-believing restaurant owner off the strip about social media.
Has he ever stitched you? Any of your stuff?
Nope, never. I don't think so.
He stitched one of my videos, and I was so terrified when he did.
Because you never know.
Because you never know how he'll feel. Like, it was before Frankincense. It was like a couple videos before Frankincense, before that all really went national, and he was just really blowing up in Vegas. So I posted a place in North Las Vegas called Taste Buds, and I said it was the best mac and cheese I've ever had. And so I remember it went viral overnight, like over 100,000 likes within like less than 12 hours. And I'm like, wow, this thing is really growing. And then all of a sudden, boom, I get stitched. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Apparently he drove 45 minutes all the way up to like North Vegas and got the mac and cheese. And he was like, she said it was the best mac and cheese she's ever had. He tries a bite and he goes, that's the best mac and cheese I've ever had.
Woo!
The relief.
You're like Neo dodging a bullet in the Matrix,
Literally.
man.
I was like,
Whoa!
thank goodness.
Thank God.
Oh
That's
my
awesome.
gosh. And so because
great.
of like the power of my video and the power of his video and like the community of building up this like small business, they were able to move from a food truck to a brick and mortar. And so I was able to go on the news and like talk about the impact that videos make. So thank goodness. Thanks, Keith. I'm glad we have similar palettes.
Well, and that's the thing is, I think that with Keith leaving Vegas, a power vacuum has developed.
Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. And so now it's who's going to be taking over the mantle of Keith Lee. So the obvious question to both of you individually is, who do you think is going to take over the role of Keith Lee in Las Vegas as a content creator?
Is that something that needs to be substituted? That's hard to say because like Keith Lee's such a unicorn. I don't know if that's going to ever be a thing. If I was a person that needs Keith Lee's power, you just can't get it because he's in Texas, whatever that is, I'll just go Starfish. That'll be the next.
So you think it's Starfish is the next one to take over?
You know, for me, it's about sticky following. It's not about like how big they are in followership or anything like that. How much percentage of your followers can you actually move by saying something is what I really care about the most. And if you really think about that, it'll be Starfish for me.
Are you talking about Las Vegas specific?
Yeah, if I have a massive spend and I'm located in Las Vegas and I want to hire the best social media influencer to get my brand out and I'm going to pay that person, who am I hiring?
I mean, I feel like even before Keith Lee, people have been doing this for years and years before me. So it's not like Keith Lee was like the first person to do so, but he did make it known on like a national to global level. And so I guess if we're in Las Vegas, we are the epicenter and you were to pay someone, I mean, everyone goes towards Jen or Drew. I feel like those are like the people that they talk about most. We could also bring in Las Vegas foodie. Like it depends on like who it is. Like,
but if the actual question is like, I only have this budget and I want to like kind of try to get as savvy as possible, I just wouldn't stick to one post like that. I just would never do it. Because nowadays, you know, more than ever now, it's interest graph algorithm more than a follower graph algorithm. It's not like, you know, yes, there's these guys that are consistently going over, 200,000, views and stuff like that. And if you want to guarantee that, great. But it's more powerful to go micro and get as many as shots to the slot machine as possible and try to pull that slot machine as many as times as possible. Because never before has there been a bigger chance for a 12,000 follower TikTok post to blow up and literally move the most months in the needle ever. So like, the girl that posted the Chili's mozzarella cheese thing and blow up and skewed 40% across nation for Chili's sales was not the top influencer of that city. Was just a regular girl.
Watch this. This is going to be great. Who do you feel are the top micro influencers in Las Vegas?
You know what I mean? I love it. That's the thing. I would play the numbers game and try to get as many as possible, as long as you think they're good.
I'm doing this to bust balls because they're going to clip my question and I'll take Fargo Talks out of it. I want CJ's to get the branding out of it.
Oh my gosh.
That's why I did it. But to say, that's a great point because I've had other influencers came in and they said, I wouldn't hire just one person. And even Jenny has said that, that she's like, and I saw that, I love all you guys, but everyone, Swingers fucked up. Swingers fucked up big time because they shot their wad getting every single influencer they could pay to come in for their grand opening. Instead of paying like maybe a Jenny, a Tallz, Cody.
Local living.
Right? Have them come in so you've got kind of a here, here, and here.
Yes, exactly right.
So different audiences, different reach. Do those three for your first 90 days. Then start bringing in other people, like Daniel Leo and everybody who is very good.
Of course.
Other people are kind of the same in the same pool. But because all I saw, because I follow a bunch of influencers, there was like a week straight, all I see it's all the same content. It's all fucking swingers. So it's not your fault because you're not gonna say no to the money, but swingers, you fucked up. Whoever your PR person is, you fucked up big time because the message from the audience, me, becomes so diluted, I'm out. I'm out.
You just see it every
I'm
scroll.
done. I'm not going to follow you I'm not going to follow this stuff anymore. Like I'm not going to. At least I'm not going to absorb the content. I'm going to follow you. I'll watch if I'm into miniature golf and DJs and all that horse shit. Okay, fine. But the way they did it was still wrong, and that's something Jenny has talked about that ad nauseum. To say that you've got people that are these big brands are hiring all these influencers at once, like a corral, and we're just going to blow it. No. Because there's so much overlap with your audiences.
There is.
Right? That why not hire just a couple and then keep Drew in your back pocket for 6 months down the road, then bring him in.
Yeah.
He's a 108 howitzer, man. He's a fucking cannon. He's opinionated. He's funny as shit.
Yes.
Some of the funniest stuff he does is on his walks. When he does his stories, oh my God.
It's probably one of the most controversial things you'll ever say is on a walk.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's hilarious
great.
and smart and witty and funny. And so it's like he just slings it. But why would you hire, like, again, I don't think he was involved in that, but hire like Jen and then like someone like him or Phil's food, but someone that does like entertainment stuff, let's like a Daniel Leo. I wouldn't do that. I would do like quarterly. I would have like, who's your top 3, 4, and have them come every quarter, and then pepper in more of the like micro influencers, like
That's
50 to
interesting.
100,
What you
100,000.
just said is very interesting to me because I know exactly what you're talking about. An agency like us, when we put these influencer campaigns together, it would be great if that meant gradual increase of their revenue because you spread them out. But nowadays, it's getting worse and worse to track. Yes, if you get starfishes and Phils of the world, needle moves and it's visibly, difference and stuff like that, and you can track it. But never has it been more difficult to track influencers' outcomes if you do it spread out, wide and thin. I call this wide and thin versus narrow and deep, right? Wide and thin is let's get 2 or 3 guys in here every month and make sure that there's significant amounts of like flow of posts that goes from these guys and how we measure it would be to hope that our bottom line sales just kind of increases as those posts go out. That's the strategy, right? But it's never been tougher to measure that increase of sales when you do it at wide and thin. So agencies like us, we like measurement. We like huge impact.
So did every single woman in Las Vegas that's dating also enjoy measurement.
That's what she said.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Guys, it's not about the measure. Oh, okay. It's not the... Okay. All right. Anyway, the reason that we do it, we recommend narrow and deep, meaning short period of time. And I want to I'll give you an example. I had a client, and we've done this like 9 times in last year or so, with micro-influencers. Yes, Phil, Drew, Jen, been involved in some of them, but a lot of them that, like, let's say there's 9 of them, maybe 3 of them had big guys in it, but majority of others, we didn't have any, like, big name creators, but still 3-4 hours line out the door for the grand opening because of this wide and narrow and deep strategy that we have. Okay. We have other things, too. We have ad strategy that has to be there. And there's some other things that we have listed, the playbook. There's a raffle giveaway strategy too. That's why people would wait for 4 hours rather than, just bail. There's a lot of things that you do. Okay. And some of these grand opening strategies, 30% of those people might never come back because they might be just there for a raffle stuff like that. But the virality of the line out the door has been very successful. And that ripple on that day throughout the years is much more effective than one guy coming in per month just posting for them, hoping
makes complete sense.
So
Okay,
so
that
what we
makes complete
do
sense.
is we get a lot. So I'll give you an analogy. The difference. Stefano's 25-year anniversary. Their idea was to, hey, this whole year of my 25th anniversary year, I want to give out free dessert, free baklava for every purchase for the entire year. That's our message. I'm like, save your fucking baklava money. Nobody gives a shit about free baklava.
I hate baklava, by the way.
Say-
Baklava can go eat a bag of dicks.
That's
Sorry,
what
I'm fucking with you.
Mindy would say the same thing. She
Yeah.
just tried it again for the 100th time. She's like, I still hate it.
fucking
But
I just ate a whole
our
square the
idea
other
though was to do it on one day versus whole year. So if the offers were here, I told them just do it on one day, but give your house away for that one day.
Yeah.
And let's see,
Go deep.
6,000 euros sold. They had to shut down their businesses 2 p.m. when they're open until 6. You know, I like being able to show somebody a huge impact of a measurement. And if you want that, you might have to go a little bit more narrow.
Okay. I have a separate question for Talia. If you could highlight one type of business for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Type of business? Like, are we going specifically into like a type of restaurant, or are we talking about as a whole in everything whatsoever?
Yes.
Oh, goodness gracious.
I know. Fuck you, Jeff.
I know. That's so hard because I cover so many different things. I could go on a train ride, or I could go into an indoor slide park, or I could go to a farmer's market.
If you were going to make $750,000 a year for the rest of your life, capturing one type of content, one genre of content in a specific niche, I don't say niche, I'm not bougie. What niche would that be?
Honestly, I mean, either travel or because, you know, there's so many different ways you can go into that. Or I'm going to be honest, I feel like Disney influencers.
That's a good one.
It's like because Disney's always trying to be better,
Dude.
you know? And the new parks, new foods, new themes, new holidays. I'm not even a Disney person. I haven't been to Disney in over 6 years. I would love to go back. Hey, Disney.
That's a good one, though. Disney is. I was there. Was it this year? This year, I was there in February with my son in Orlando. I took him, and he's
so cool.
8, and so it was just him and I, and had a blast.
Just him and you.
Yeah,
That's so
That's
fun.
amazing.
yeah, just him and I. I'm thinking about this coming year. We're going to do something. I don't know
again.
what yet, but I might bring my son and my daughter and go back. I grew up going to Disney World. I'm from upstate New York, and my grandparents live in Fort Lauderdale, so I grew up. That's my Disney. Disneyland, I'm not a big fan of.
Never been to Disney World. Would love to go though.
Disney World is
Yeah, it's a
take
whole
my
nother
money.
level.
Take my money.
Like a multiple day ordeal.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. I can't even fathom.
It's just, especially when you have kids.
Right.
It's an experience, you know. But I just want to know. That's a good one to say. Like travel or Disney are
No food.
excellent, but no food.
Well, I mean, there's food within Disney, though.
True.
Yeah, but all right. So let's. I want to press you. What's your favorite type of food to review?
Probably things with cheese. I mean, come on.
I love you.
That's so
Right?
I love you.
Because
not your brand.
I know it's ironic because I am lactose intolerant, but I lean into that because like I don't know, it's like a little bit taboo of like, oh, I'm lactose intolerant, but it's not as taboo as you think because there's so many like I think over 60% of the population is lactose intolerant in some degree. So they relate, and you have no idea how many DMs I get. What are those pills that you use? Where do you get that? I've even gotten approached by like, you know, supplement brands being like, hey, we make a lactose like digesting like type of thing. Like, can we
great.
send you
That's so
some?
funny.
Still waiting on it. I will take it and I will promote you for free because I use it all the time. But yeah, I don't know. It's things with cheese because those cheese pulls are something immaculate.
So here's my follow-up. Of course, you know this is coming. I should put my CJ's cup up for this question. What are your top 3 restaurants in Las Vegas that serve cheese?
Oh my God. Actually, I've been thinking about that recently.
Paul, you're an excellent wingman.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
all-
You're a
I'm
great
all over it.
wingman.
Okay, let's see. I'm trying to think because recently I'm like, maybe I should make a video about like the 3 best cheese pulls in Las Vegas, you know? So one that comes to mind is probably, actually I just went to Empanada Factory and, you know, like the Chili's Triple Dipper is going viral off of that mozzarella stick pull. That's a big reason why it's going so crazy. And so I went to Empanada Factory and I broke it open. That thing went over 3 feet long. I couldn't keep going. I had to just like, I was about to stand up on my seat to see how far I could take it. So that's a good cheese pull right there. A second one, I haven't been, but obviously I see Jen and Drew, everyone posts about it.
The twisted pizza mozzarella sticks.
Twisted pizza mozzarella
Let her
sticks.
finish, please.
That's the number one.
For the clip. Let her
Yes,
finish,
you're right.
please.
Yeah,
So,
you're right.
Oh my God, Paul.
Twisted pizza mozzarella sticks for sure. Haven't been, but I've seen so many videos on it. And then if I had to think of a third one, I haven't been, but I've also seen, I think it's called Giordano's, right? It's that, was it Chicago deep dish style pizza where people literally stand on their chairs to see how high they can take their cheese pull, which I think that's really interesting as well.
So now what we'll do is Max, my clipper, and he's watching this. He'll be watching this now and laughing. He's in Miami, and he has all my short form clips. He will put in the restaurants that you talked about as you're talking about it. He'll put in the cheese pull and do the whole thing, and that'll be the clip that we post.
I knew
Jeff, your
that, I knew
production
that was
is kind of,
clipped.
it's big.
I'm blessed. I have a great team.
What?
Yeah, I have a great team. I have, and it's part of my media company that I have. I have a guy that does nothing but clips. We talk almost every day. He's 22 years old, Max. He's in Miami, and instead of being balls deep in some Colombian girl, he is working out, playing pickleball, hanging out with his friends, and doing short form video clips.
Clipping, Fargo
Like he has
talks.
balance at 22. I'm like, at 22, I was hookers and blow. Like, what are you talking about?
Shout out to Max.
Shout out to Max's.
Is Max single?
Max is single.
Okay. Too young for me. I'm not a
Honestly,
cougar
Max
yet.
is single, and Max is a stud. Max is a good-looking kid.
Clip
like
that.
he
Hey
just
Max, I'm
graduated.
shooting my shot. I don't know what you look like.
You will. I'll.
just
I'll
kidding.
Max,
Whoa.
Max graduated from USC last year, or this year. He graduated and moved. Has a friend that has a condo in Miami, so has moved there. But like, isn't running around with girls. Like, is focused on work. And he just. And I said to my wife yesterday, I go, I want to meet Max's parents and hug them and say thank you for raising such an amazing young man. Like, he's just a good kid. So he does all the clips, but we talk ahead of time because some of them, it's just captioned and that's it. But other ones, when you get into visual stuff, we always add in the extra layer of, like, I don't do the ones, like if someone talks about, like, if they're looking for like a sugar daddy, you used to put in like a George Clooney picture, would come layered in.
right.
Or a picture like of an older guy with like salt and pepper. We don't do that anymore. You just fucking clip it and just do the captions. But with anything visual with food or entertainment or nightlife, we always then will go ahead and put that layered file in of a cheese pull at Giordano's. Like, we'll have that. We'll pull that and clip it in a second. And I'll tag them on the clip. Like, why not give them some love?
Of course.
Like, they should celebrate their creativity. So that's all that I do. Thank you. But that's all. And I have another guy, Austin, who's 22. All he does is, Christian. He lives in Austin. And what he does is YouTube thumbnails. That's all he does is my YouTube thumbnails.
It's
And
great.
he drops all my long form for me. So, and
Man.
I have another girl that helps me build marketing decks. And so I just, I have I'm very good at spending money. I'm good at it. I can get on my Chase app and just fucking swipe. And
Yeah, Jeff, you're
or my-
rich.
Of course, I'm fucking loaded. No, I'm fucking close. I've invested my own personal money that came in from my mom passing away into this and doubled down on myself now over a year and a half ago. And it's now paying off. Now I'm in the black and doing okay.
I love it.
But
I love
it's-
that story.
But I at 53 became a 1099 employee for the first time in my life. Scared shitless. But I was like, if I want to do this, I have to invest in myself.
Same.
Like when you get burnout, you got to turn around and invest in yourself a little bit, like you were talking about. And so that's all I did. To now, it's people come in here that I want to talk to. Not that I have to, or I have people reaching out to me. I'm like, what are we going to talk about? But I use my wife as a sounding board. She's like, oh my God, he's got 1 million followers and you'll find something to talk about. Let's do it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so in they come and we end up having great conversations. And yes, this stuff goes viral. But I don't do it for virality. I do it for just, I want to have good conversations. I want to leave this as a video scrapbook to my kids. That in 100 years when I'm gone, my kids, my grandkids, my great-grandkids will say, oh yeah, my great-grandpa Jeff had a podcast in Las Vegas. And they could see me. That's why I'm doing this.
That's cool.
That's the reason why I do it.
And true creators never go into it for the virality of it, right? They just go into it because they like something and that they move into something. That was my big thing to the career day kiss. I'm like, don't just be a YouTuber. You got to like something first and then utilize whatever that is, the social media tools to become the voice of that little niche. I do have a funny Giordano story, though. Did you guys ever hear about Giordano and Lindsay, the Las Vegas foodie story? So Giordano's is iconic for the cheese pull. And it was like that ever since Instagram was just 1x1 photos. That's where we come from. Me, Lindsay, when we first started, it was just 1x1 photos. So, cheese pull was like a big thing. Cheese pull photos were something that we were going after. And this is, I think, before maybe Phil was in the picture just now, then, and Lindsay got into to the industry for the first time. She was like, when we invited her to Hobach Christmas party for our agency, she was like less than, I want to say 5,000 follower creator. And then she posted a photo from Giordano's of the all cheese pizza. It was like a crazy photo. And she passed up just about every person in our group on followership off of this one photo. Just like how I did it with my one video.
Wow.
I gained like 160-some thousand followers of one video. I had a 128 million view video that just blew me up to like 300 plus thousands. She did that, and she passed up a lot of people. And the dynamics that when you see when that happens of people that get butthurt about somebody just shooting right by them in a followership was the most incredible thing to see for the first time in our industry. And that happens now often. New TikToker comes into the in the industry and just shoots to the moon.
Look what Heather's done.
Exactly.
Look at Raised in Vegas.
Same thing, right?
Look what she's done. That she is born and raised.
She rebranded, by the way.
And she rebranded,
Right.
and she's open about it.
Smart.
I'm not talking out of school, but I personally think that she's going to be one of the biggest ones
Agreed.
in town with this vacuum that's been opened up. I think she's going to be up there as one of them.
It's because she has a good format. She is a born and raised person that talks about a lot of these things. That are
Posts
so
3
relatable.
times a day. And I posted a clip about it. How she even gave like, this is my playbook, because no one's going to do it. No one's going to keep that. The biggest thing about what you guys do, I assume, is consistency.
Yep.
Like
the work ethic of it.
Like when you're posting, how often do you post a week?
Oh, now a lot less than what it was before. It used to be every day for me. I was trying to post multiple times a day on YouTube because Drew told me that he posts. By the way, I think Drew is the number one when it comes to work ethic, when it comes to new account growth and growth on an account. Yeah. He's a monster. I don't think people understand. Yeah, he has his personality and you see him in the front end. But I know him on the production side of things. These guys are fucking monster. He would post 4 videos on YouTube Shorts in a row.
Yep.
Don't care.
Don't care.
Doesn't care.
I
love it.
3 Carl's Donuts and one other thing every single time because he knows that the wave of engagement is coming from there and he has zero ego about anything else except the growth.
Let's talk about him for a second. And his burger place that he has, with love always. I went out there, drove 45 minutes. I'm in West Henderson. I had to go through 14 fucking like East German checkpoints for Christ's sake. Thank God I have a fucking real ID. Jesus Christ. Just to get the fuck out there was bananas. But brought like all of our kids, my wife, and we went. And I used to own a burger place.
You did?
And in southern Utah.
What's it called?
Fargo's Drive-Thru.
No.
You're kidding.
I won a bunch of
fucking
awards. I'll show you the pictures later. Like I was best chef in southern Utah. And people, these like culinary, like cordon bleu trained chefs in St. George lost their fucking minds. Lost their minds. And how I did it was I printed out the ballots and I would highlight the 8 categories: best milkshake, best French fries, all the categories we qualified for, put it with a pencil on every tray of every single burger and fry that went out, and said, here, if you think we got it, please go ahead and vote for us. And I'd bring a stack of those fuckers filled out every night to the Spectrum, is the newspaper of record in St. George, Utah that owns St. George Magazine, and I handed them in. And I won by a landslide.
Wow.
A landslide. And I sent I have it on my phone. I sent it to Drew. He's like, holy shit. I go, dude, so I'll come give you an honest review. And I gave an honest review. I can make an 8 out of 10. It was great. It was great.
Oh, you and your
it was my wife and my wife, my stepdaughter, my son, and my daughter. We all went out and just kind of and reviewed the place. But I gave him feedback on like, you need a secret shopper to come in that even you don't know who it is. Get like the cousin of a friend. Like have it like a drug deal that like you never know who this is to come in and like, what's your ticket time? It smells a little bit in there. It's too smoky. Didn't like it. There's no seating.
Yeah,
there's like
Yeah,
no,
of course.
there's like
Yeah.
there's
Yeah.
no seating
Yeah.
at all. But that's okay because then that's less like it's less rent, so you could turn more tables. But I said your next location have again my opinion have more seating because then people are going to post more. They're more likely to post
Yeah.
and give more organic stuff. I go right now, 99% of your advertising is you and your partner are influencers, so you're putting out the content. You want more organic stuff, not just you putting out Would Love Always stuff multiple times a day.
Right.
And which is fair, just again, love it or hate it. That's my feedback I gave him. And the fries were amazing, like the loaded fries. The pickles he has are some of the best pickles I've ever had in my
Make
entire
it there.
life.
Oh no! It's like some other pickle. Yeah. Actually, you got the
Those
pickles.
pickles
You're right.
are like even
Amazing.
my wife's a foodie, and she was like, "Oh my god." Like, oh my God. And so the SOB burger was fantastic, crispier on the outside, perfectly cooked smash burger. The bun is amazing. So 8 out of 10 it gets. But
I thought it was 8.5 out of 10.
8.
Oh, okay.
8. Yeah, my daughter gave him like a 7.
Okay.
My daughter's tough.
Wow.
Oh, if you watch my stuff, like when we go back to my hometown of Canandaigua, we'll go, and it was my 2 kids and I went this summer, and we're going. All my friends have restaurants.
like that.
So and her standard is a 7. She gives a 7. She went, again, full disclosure. Sorry, Drew, but she gave We Live Always. I didn't post this. She goes, it's a 7. I go, why? She goes, the burger just tastes like any other burger.
Wow, I thought
went,
that
okay.
was.
Oh my God.
I went, okay. But again, that is generational. Of
course.
She's generation whatever, at 15, Gen whatever. She's inundated with stuff all the time. And also, like, we go out for nice places to eat. My wife is my wife's a 4-star fucking cook. Like she slings it. So, and her mom is a good cook, so she eats good food. My daughter is 15. We just went for pho
Love it.
at 15. She was eating sushi in a high chair. And like sashimi in row, not California rolls.
Yeah. Right.
That's how I taught her. I taught my kids, you can always say no, but after you try it.
Exactly right.
At least try it first. And so both of my kids now, like my son is going to be 9. He loads his burger up with fresh onion and tomato. My wife makes fry sauce
Love
from
it.
scratch, which is fucking, mayo and ketchup. But still, the way she does it, I can't do it. I can't get the ratio right. And so it's just, I think what Drew is doing out there is the first time that influencers are having real skin in the game by saying, we're going to have a restaurant. And they spent years of due diligence of finding out what works.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant. Oh, the other thing I gave him feedback on was I wanted to try a cone, but I couldn't because it's about a 9-minute ticket time, which is fine.
Yeah.
The wait was fine.
Yeah.
But
After you've already eaten your
but
meal.
I've ordered, and I assumed that I'm going to get all my food and a cone as well. He goes, no, actually it's staggered. So where we give you time to eat. And then I go, awesome, I didn't know that. And he said, maybe we have the girls up in front when you're taking your order say, would you like a cone? You can get it later on. And you get a text message when your cone is ready and they stagger it like 10
That's a
minutes
good
later.
system.
Oh, I love that.
Right? And
Yeah.
and I said, absolutely do that. And I said, the more people you're going to get versus the people you're going to piss off because they feel like they're upsold.
Exactly right.
Like, I'd rather you tell me that than have a suggested tip,
Right.
which also fucking drives me insane. Drives me insane. Put a tip jar out. Put a tip jar out. And that's for anybody. I'm not a fan of that at all, of the, like, auto-grat. And I heard it from somebody else. They said, if I'm standing up and getting food or drinks from you, I'm not tipping you. If I'm sitting down, I will tip you if you're bringing me something to eat or drink. But if
That's such a hot topic.
But if I'm standing up, what do you guys feel about that as people that are out like in the business or they're seeing businesses about what do you feel about being forced to tip?
I agree with not agreeing with forced tips, but I'm such a tipper myself. Like I overly tip on any situation like that because I'm always in this like I'm grateful for all the free food that I get and I kind of want to like give it out to so whenever I have an opportunity to tip, I just tip drastically. But I also kind of agree with not tipping if you like a fast casual place used to never collect tips. Now they do. I've even seen like groceries, like convenience stores have a tip line and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So that should tell you, there's a line there where I have to draw. And it definitely has to be before fast casual. Do you know what I mean? If you're fast casual, you shouldn't expect too much. If you're all to go.
What do you think?
Okay, let's see. I worked in the service industry before I started doing like influencer stuff. So I've worked in kitchens, I've worked in the front, I've worked in the back, everything. I've been mistreated, I've been treated well, etc. And that I believe that like just for me, I love to tip. You know, I just know what it's like to be in that place with the work drama, with my feet hurting, with whatever. And so look, if my $15, like, you know, 15 to 18 to 20% tip can go in your pocket so that you can go get a matcha latte, that's fine. Because realistically for my lifestyle, I will probably get a free matcha latte next week. So it kind of evens out a little bit for me. And I don't mind it because also like I see my friends work in service industry and like all the stuff that, you know, they handle and they have to go through. So if like my $2 can like help you get something like, you know, a sweet treat after work or like go towards a sweet treat, I will do that. I'll buy your sweet treat.
I have a follow-up question for you then. If you're a server or you're working behind the counter and you give me my tray of food and it says 10, 20, 30% tip and I hit no tip, does a little piece of you die inside of you? Are you mad? Is there any animosity you have towards me?
That's a good question.
For me, it's more so like, because I worked at a bakery where I was serving people and I would actually tell people, because like we started introducing like the tipping on the pin pad and stuff. And I was just like, if you feel compelled, then you can tip me, but I'm not going to force you to. And I would tell them like, oh, like you can say no. Like I'd be like, oh, you can just press the red X.
I've been to a couple of years ago, the company I work for, they own the Golden Knights. Bill Foley's the CEO of Fidelity Title. And so we'd go to Jack Daniel's Lounge and you're right there at sections 5 and 6. It was awesome. It got to the point where you go up and get a beer, and the beers at T-Mobile are not cheap. And then and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? The lady was so nice. She's like, don't worry about tipping. It's okay. You don't have to tip. Because I'm looking at it. And of course, it's a chore to not tip. Like you have to touch a couple extra things, which sometimes makes it, if you're not somebody that has a lot of self-confidence, you almost feel beholden. You're like, oh, this person's going to judge me if I don't tip them, is what I think is happening. I very often will be like, because I just don't give a fuck. It's my money. I earned it. If I feel you've earned it, I'll be gracious as part of gratuity is being gracious. I will, give you gratuity handsomely. I overtip. Also, I was in the restaurant business for my family owned a 500-seat banquet facility growing up. So I was 8 years old. I was washing pots and pans. I know all about it. And if you're busting your ass, yes. But if you literally just went like this with a tray and you go like this, have a good day. No, I'm not going to tip you. And I'm okay with that. But I think a lot of people feel shamed into it.
I do think there is a certain aspect of shame. And I think it just depends. Like everyone has their line. And I agree when it is something where it's like, here you go. That'll be $18. And then it's like, do you want to leave an 18% minimum tip? I completely understand. And so it's just more like
I got out of With Love Always, and they have the auto thing. Full disclosure, they have it there. It's okay. Like that's their business model. I did it, and that added another like $12 and change.
Right.
On the order. I'm like, really?
Right.
It got me a little bit.
Yeah.
And I looking back on it, I wouldn't have either left the tip that I did or tip at all. But again, you have that fear that 20-year-old girl is
a part of her is going to die.
A little part of her internally is going to suffer a little micro death.
Welcome to the world, girl.
When you're not, but like I would love to talk to somebody in the service industry sometime and just to say, do you die a little death whenever you get, like, do you feel that you're getting stiffed? Like, if you go into, like, Hank's Steakhouse, and if I have a giant meal there and I walk out without tipping them, that's a problem. Yes, someone should follow me out and say, the manager should follow me out and go, is there something we could have done better, sir? I see that you didn't leave any gratuity. That's a thing. But to go to T-Mobile Arena and walk up and you're spending $16 for a draft beer,
and you pay extra $4.
And you pay an extra $4 on top of it. Fuck you.
I love it. That's exactly right.
Fuck you.
I feel like the people who think like that are actually, at the end of the day, bigger tippers when it actually matters. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I do believe in that.
I want to talk with you guys about, and we'll wrap up. My God, it's 2 hours almost, which I knew was going to happen.
I feel like we haven't even scratched the surface.
Well, that's the thing is there'll be a part 2 to this. Don't worry. If you guys are cool with that,
of course,
we'll do a part 2.
Yeah.
What about I'll say it. I'll mention her. I love Jenny. Vegas Starfish, I fucking love her. I'll post her stuff and people will say, she's getting paid. She's getting paid. She's getting paid. Almost every time I put, give me proof, jeff@fargotalks.com. Please email me. And it's other influencers are out there. Like Vegas Pauly C did it. I'll say it. And I like Paul. He's exhausting, but I like him. He's a savant. He's a savant with numbers, with casino numbers. He's Rain Man. But he did a post, I guess, about Jenny getting paid from somewhere at Fontainebleau or something. And Jenny was like, I didn't get paid. And actually, I overtipped. I did not get paid. I believe her.
I do too.
Right? I
believe her.
Because she's in a position in her life that she doesn't have to lie about things. And if she has a partnership with other companies or does something, that's on her. That's on her to disclose. Where does the line get drawn with influencers when, if they are getting paid, do you always disclose? Do you not? What's the gray area that's there?
It's a really good question. I don't think people understand how much free work we really do. That's the first thing I'll say about that.
Okay.
If there's 10 posts going out, I don't think I think the consensus is that we get paid for all 10 posts is just furthest away from the truth. There's a lot of things that we post that are not being paid. So I'll start there.
Okay.
But, also there's like a fine line about that. Like I said, if you think that you giving me free boba was some kind of like a monetizing exchange where I have to post a paid partnership thing because I got a free boba from you, that's out, right? Yeah. So where's the fine line? I would say if there's actually a deliverable scope and you're getting paid from this company to post one, you should mention something about it, and that's, I guess, the rule. But that rule has been so disintegrated long time ago in our industry that, and there's a little bit thing about being organic about this rather than mentioning, because there are so many things that we're not talking about. Like, how do we know that she was so passionate about this project that she agreed to it anyway?
Did she
and
get
as
paid
a thank
for that?
you,
Did she get paid for that cheese pull?
Right.
Or is that just her really, she snorted her fucking pills and loved it, which I love that, by the way. God, you're adorable. And so it is that cheese pull really coming? Is it sincere?
Is it coming from the heart?
That's the thing that people, I think, are questioning now with influencers. Is the sincerity
it
of
wouldn't
the
be
content.
a post unless it was authentic, right? They wouldn't even see it if it was that fake, I would say. So, it's unfair to question her integrity because no paid collaboration thing was there. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
I don't think people are not doing it just to say, ooh, this was paid, but I'm not going to fucking put this paid collaboration in there because nobody's doing that. So that's number one. I'll give you an even bigger fine line because on my feed, majority of them are not paid posts. They just happen to be a client of our agency, and we do their social media. They're on a retainer. We're the agency of record for like Tallz Group. We're the agency of record for Station Casino. We're the only one that's actually pulling a retainer from these people.
Right.
So if I post on my feed because it helps my client that's on a retainer on a social side something, I'm not going to put a paid collaboration thing on my thing. But they're monetizing. There's a relationship there. They're paying us for something.
You're paying the
not
agency,
paying
but
me
not
for my
you.
posts.
We are in the infant. I guess this before. It's like the infancy at the Wild West.
Yeah.
Still of
There's
this.
gotta be a guideline about this in the future.
Like
Trust me.
I'm somebody that I've always said, when in doubt, disclose. When in doubt, disclose. Like right now, I have Valhalla Solutions is a life insurance guy that he does group life insurance stuff. I'm a client. Like I can't work with somebody unless I say that, and I'm talking to a tattoo parlor now that like I already have a tattoo. I'm not getting any more, but I'll probably have them on. But it is, I disclose every time, every post. Or what I do is every post where he has a presence, like he's on YouTube, so I tag him. He's on Instagram, I tag him there. He's on TikTok, I tag him there. He's not on X, so I don't tag him on X. I don't tag him on Substack. I don't tag him on Snap. And so I don't tag him on Instagram stories, but I tag him in Reels. So it's there. So I just, it's all over the place, man, because it's like, disclose everything, fuck you, disclose nothing, gray area.
What's the benefit for people actually making sure that creators actually disclose it or not?
That's a great question. I think it leads to the actual credibility of the sincerity of the content.
True.
That's what I think.
See, that's the thing. I think paid or not, the integrity of the creators should already be there before even they accept this deal.
Great answer.
Of it being something that they want to do.
Great answer.
And it should be the creator's integrity to say no to things that might become inauthentic just for doing it for the money. I believe the reason that they don't disclose is not because they want to hide it, is because they truly feel that this is more authentic than a paid post. I will say that for the creators.
I think that you look at Jenny. I've talked with Jenny off the record several times with confidential stuff we've shared, just her and I. I love her. And she's done more pro bono, free content for people that she just believes in what they're doing.
Amen to that.
Right? I mean, and that's like, for you, of every 10 posts that you're doing, how many are paid and how many, and again, this could fluctuate all over the place, but how many of them is a paid partnership and how many of them is just, I love Bob's Babka Barn and I'm going to blow up Bob all I can?
So out of 10 posts, I would say about 7 are like not paid. And 3 of them are they're disclosed because I've been blessed to be able to work with these major companies that have deliverables, that have agreements, that need to disclose, that want a whitelist. So it's like I'm very clear about like where I stand with my content creation, and that's why I don't mind doing free stuff, is because I'm monetized. So like, if it's something that I genuinely believe in and it makes me excited, you can hear it through my video. And so therefore people will want to go and support and that video will do well. So I make my money anyway, you know? But I don't know. I keep thinking about boba because obviously I'm Asian. I get a lot of like, boba places out.
You're Asian?
He didn't know I was Filipino for the longest time.
Wait, whoa. Shots fired. Hold on a second. What? That's true.
One time we were at one of his clients, Max's Filipino restaurant, and I was talking about like, oh my gosh, they have this dish. I love it so much. I missed it. I haven't had this in so long. And he was like, ha ha ha. Wait.
I'm like, Talia, you're Filipino?
And I sat there in disbelief, like, Paul, how
what
long
did you
have
think?
we known each other?
Hawaiian?
No.
What did you think?
I think I was like a half joke, half not at that minute because that was not too long ago.
I just saw things connecting in his head, and he was
That's
like,
hilarious.
I guess I don't see color.
Yeah.
Well, but he's
yeah, good for me. Yeah, man. What are you guys, racist?
I was going to say, how dare you? Yeah. Filipino shaming here on Fargo Talks. We're not.
I don't see colors.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that's shocking to me that 70% of your content
Less than 30%.
So less than 30% is paid, right?
Yeah.
I would say it's less than 10% for me.
Yeah.
Right?
But I was going to say, and you have monster audiences, and you're saying less than 10% of the content you're putting out is paid.
A lot of it is our clients. Our agency has a lot
Majority
of
of his posts are client posts.
Okay.
And we started doing non-food about 3 years ago. And that, I got to tell you, if you're in food and you're crushing it and you want to get clients, try non-food clients. There's another zero behind their budget. But, it's just, you can never, like, there's a hard, like a fine gray line between the paid and a non-paid when there's already some kind of monetizing or you have a reason to post, right? So this is what I'm telling you. A lot of guys that are looking for, and in her case, in Jen's case, and Drew's, when you're at that tier of influencers, there's not that many really mom and pop restaurants that can afford the rate.
No.
This is why their paid sponsorship ratio is lower, like 30%, 40%, is because they don't even deal with clients that can afford them. So there's only like certain amount of percentage of clients that are in that budget field to actually be able to pay for these guys at $2,000 to $12,000 per post.
At that point, it's
rate.
hospitality groups that reach out to me, and I still have agreements and paid partnerships that I have to follow through with.
This is a question for both of you, and we'll wrap it up. Is what are the younger kids now? The biggest thing, if you ask them what they want to do, they want to be influencers. They want to be content creators. Mm-hmm. What are the top 3 things someone has to do to become a successful content creator?
I want to hear Paul's.
You have to have, okay, that's so good. The number one thing for you to become a brand on the feed is no filter on other people's opinion about your content. That's the number one thing you have to overcome. A lot of people, we handle personal brands sometimes, and this happens. This is why I can kind of tell you with conviction. When you do personal brands, these guys are usually, and my pitch back to them whenever they want to do their personal brand is like, you can't just throw money at this. You know what I mean? You have to become comfortable enough to create content about yourself that you might not like. So if you're one of those people that says, oh, my best friend so-and-so is going to see this and have this kind of opinion, you're already fucked. You shouldn't even start, because for you to become successful on the media end,
Right.
you have to have zero. You can't think too much about what other people are going to say about you. And
Agreed.
That's number one. Number two is incredible work ethic. So when people want to say, I want to become a YouTuber, I'm like, well, it's a cool thing, but you're going to work twice or three times more hours per se than a 9-to-5 guy when you get into this field. This is going to consume your life. But the cool thing about our work is that at times we don't even know if this is work or not, because it's fun for us, right? It's something that we love doing. So this is why you can't just become a YouTuber and just wanting to just choose a field. Like, I think a lot of people nowadays, they see the number one problem of social media is that everybody thinks social media is easy. So they look at us and go, oh, these guys just go to restaurants and just make a couple of videos and blow up. I like eating. I get that all the time. I like eating. Like, that has nothing to do. Okay, great. But for a guy that just likes eating to become Starfish, there's like a huge amount of like work ethic, production value, and smartness. And another things that a lot of people talk about, I'll say this is a third thing. If you want to be a really good creator, there's a common denominator between all of us that are on the top tier making millions. I'll say if you're in the millions, you have to be a stellar salesperson. I don't care what you say. The reason a lot of people working at our agency is because there's a lot of creators that are not really good at client services, sales, person management. There's a lot of things above and beyond just creating video and sending it to somebody that this needs for you to become a really good business by yourself. And I think the core of all that is sales. Those three things: self-awareness and not caring about what other people think about you. Insane amount of work ethic that you're going to dedicate your entire life into this. And it's like a do or die kind of a situation. And number three is you have to be a pretty savvy salesperson, or you have to learn, or you have to hire that component. That would be my number one, my three.
So, Talia, I'll rephrase the same question, but in a better way, I think, for you to get your brain around it. What are the three things that you do or have done that you attribute your current success to as a content creator?
One, you actually have to love it. There's a lot of people that come on here and they're like, I want PR. I want free stuff. Okay, you want that, but how badly do you want it? Secondly, I feel like you need to be creative. Like you have to, everyone can post a burger, but how do you post that burger? Is it authentic to you? Like, if people can relate to you as a person, they're more than likely to want to follow along with your journey. Lastly, consistency. I mean, I was very consistent in the very beginning because I was very hungry for it. But then I ended up opening up a business on the side doing this. So it's like, which side do I put more in? I feel like I was in a tug of war. And so I'm kind of working on that balance of remaining consistent, because obviously that's how you build your audience. And so if you're a consistent friend to somebody, and people will just want to, they just love you for you, and they want to see what you do next. Not because they're like, oh, I only want to see where they go or whatever. They want to see like what you do and how you grow along in this journey.
Thank you. Thanks, guys. This has been fun.
It's been very fun.
We could go on for forever and ever and ever, which I love those kind of conversations. They almost have to come to a stop just because of just time constraints. But I definitely want to have you guys come back on, and I want to thank you for what you're doing. You're both very different in terms of the spaces. Like, you're the agency side, you're the creator side, and thank you for your vulnerability. I greatly appreciate the fact that I've earned that right to make you comfortable enough to have those conversations here on this forum. It means a lot to me that's happening. That's why I, from my vantage point as a podcaster, love what I do. love.
I think you've done a good job to actually become this person in our town. I see the value, and I see the value in other creators that has not been on this podcast to be on it, because of the honest conversation that comes out of this. Sometimes you have to think about like, what is this guy going to ask me, and how's that going to kind of like turn into something negative about me, and I don't want to be, so there's a lot of do's and don'ts. A lot of podcasts ask us, what do you not want to talk about? And you don't have that. And I think there's a genuine like a genuinity there that's like very, very real within this podcast. Also, at the same time, comfortable. And so I would highly recommend other creators to hop on this and do it. And Las Vegas Feels podcast.
It's hilarious. I'll just say this and put a button on this is I would love to go on I go on podcasts, like whenever someone asks me, almost every time I'll say yes, is ask me what are the do's and don'ts, like all the do's and don'ts I was asking you guys. No one has ever asked me, really, what are the do's and don'ts of a podcast, of like being a guest or being a host, and how do you grow a podcast and all that. And no one's really done that. And so I would love to be on a podcast and give it like that kind of free reign. Like and whatever, I'm open. I'm wide open. In terms of I hide nothing. And God bless my wife.
We know, Jeff. We know.
Holy shit balls. I know. We're aware. Heard, as the kids say.
Yeah.
Thank you, my friends.
Of course.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Jeff.